and Swamiji. I bow my head to the Holy Trio and ask them to bless this earnest endeavor of ours. My pranam to revered Vivekananda Ji Maharaj, and also a very, very warm welcome to my beloved students and to all the faculty members who are now more than my family. And also, dear audience, without whom our lives would be very, very incomplete. We will start our day with a prayer by Shriya Madam, faculty from the French department.
Om Sahana Bhavatu Sahano Bhunaktu Sahaviryam Karavavahai Tejasvinavadhitamastu ma vidvishavahai. Om Shanti 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 Harihi Om. Om Sthapakaya cha dharmasya sarvadharmasvarupine Avatara Varisthaya Ramakrishnaya te namaha. Yathagni dahika shaktihi Ramakrishne sthita hiya Sarva vidya swarupam tang Saradam pranamamyaham. Namah Shri Yatirajaya Vivekananda Suraye Satchit Sukha Swarupaya Swami Tapaharine.
On behalf of all the faculty members and our students, I would like to say that we are indeed very grateful to Swami Vivekananda Ji, our beloved Maharaj, who has given all the students a very wide platform to showcase their talents, their posters, their presentations, and polish their public speaking skills. And above all, to feel appreciated and important. And all this was done with his usual calm, unobtrusive dexterity, which we have come to recognize and respect in the last 1 year. Thank you, and God bless Maharaj. I would ask Maharaj to give the welcome speech now, before we actually begin the presentations.
I offer my humble pranams to Swami Vivekananda Ji, who has very kindly accepted the invitation to deliver benedictory address. Of course, Maharaj has a lecture scheduled at 10:30, so he will be speaking after the presentations are over. Well, and a warm welcome to all the participants, their guardians and respected teachers. So, as all of you know, the theme of the seminar is Swami Vivekananda and Indian nation. This year marks three important occasions. One is this year marks our 75th Independence Day. All India is celebrating that. Azadi Ka Amrita Mahotsav is the head. And second, 125th birth anniversary of Netaji Subhash Chandra Bose. And also, it coincidentally 125th birth year of Ramakrishna mission also. So this is very important. And some of the announcements that I make. The title of the seminar is Swami Vivekananda and Indian nation. We have 10 heads under which students are going to present. Religion is the backbone of India, and Indian national ideals, and so on. The list runs up to consolidation of, a paper, Swamiji's paper on Hinduism, which he has presented at Parliament of Religions. 10 such topics are there from which students have chosen to present. And there are totally 22 paper presentations and there are about 4 or 5 poster presentations. So all the participants, I'll tell you, will definitely get a participation certificate and you will be evaluated here, and first 3 prize winners will get a complete works of Swami Vivekananda as a gift. First 3 winners. Of course, only paper presenters will be evaluated. And other participants also will receive some books and calendars. Well, all this, if only you sit through the entire session, kindly remember. So, make up your mind to sit through the entire session. Okay. Some of the important announcements. One is keep all your mobile phones etc. in silent mode. It should not be someone is presenting and then your phone keeps ringing and you keep attending to the call. It won't go with the decorum. Then try to be silent as much as possible and then don't move about. You will have a tea break after first 12 presentations. So there is no hurry. Okay. And then at the end of all the presentation, you will have a valedictory address by Mukta Sangarandaji. Okay? So I think I won't take much of your time. Let us venture into the presentation directly. I am eagerly looking forward to hear. Thank you. And best wishes also.
Pandit Sakharam Ganesh Deuskar, well-known editor of Hitabdi Patrika, came to Belur to see Swamiji with a few friends. Coming to know that one of them was from Punjab, Swami started discussing about the acute food shortage over there. It was a short interview. Before leaving, one of the gentlemen expressed his deep regret that he had come with great expectations to listen to Swamiji's religious talks. However, unfortunately, our conversation was taken up with commonplace matters. At this, Swamiji turned grave. Is the concern over my people a commonplace matter? Questioned the defender of our faith. So long as even a dog in my country remains without food, to feed and take care of him is my highest duty. Anything else I consider as non-religion. Our first participant today is an old and dear student, Bornini Pal, who will tell you why religion is the backbone of India. Bornini, the stage is yours. Set it on fire.
Good morning everyone. My pranam to Thakurma and Swamiji. I am Bornini Pal. I am going to talk about religion, the backbone of India. These are the points I am covering in this presentation. Swamiji said that I am proud to belong to a religion which has taught the world tolerance and universal acceptance. We believe not only in universal toleration, but we accept all religions as true. India, our motherland, a beautiful subcontinent, exists peacefully for thousands of years. While other countries achieve their goal by war and bloodshed, India has always teaches everyone about love, peace and endurance. Swamiji said that there is not one race on this earth to which the world owes so much as to the mild Hindu, the patient Hindu. India, the sacred motherland of Hindus, has always been the blessed child of the god. So, even after taken down by enemies, losing her beloved children, Mother India always raises her head proudly again and again. But what is our religion? Some people say that their religion or dharma is either Hindu or Islam or Christianity. But Swamiji gives us totally different yet the simplest answer. He said that our religion is humanity. We all human beings are same, but our perspectives are different. We have different caste or jati. And these are Hindu, Islam or Buddha. But above all, we all are human beings. And this is our first identity. He said that religion is not going to church or putting marks on the forehead or dressing in a peculiar fashion. You may paint yourselves in all the colors of the rainbow, but if the heart has not been opened, if you have not realized the God, it is all in vain. So, now I want to share how deep and powerful the root of Hinduism is. Sanatan Hindu Dharma, which is considered is the oldest in this world, we maximum people in India belong there. Our Sanatan Dharma is far more different than the present one. People reform this dharma time to time for their own necessity. Some of them truly think about others, but some only think about their own interest. Our Mother India has gone through many civilizations. More than 5,000 years ago, when Westerns were not even aware of culture or society, was one of the oldest civilizations. Indus Valley civilization had risen to top for its unique urban planning and connection with other contemporary civilizations. But there was also religion or faith in the mind of people. They used to worship Matrishakti and Pashupati. The archaeologists have found their proof. Matrishakti or Adishakti Mohamaya. Hindus take her as the biggest power in the universe. In Purana, the three devs, that is Brahma, Vishnu and Maheshwara, are the most powerful gods. But when they were in trouble, they also sought help from Matrishakti or Adishakti Mohamaya. And we all know the story of Mahishasura Mardini. Matrishakti also signified the women empowerment. In early Vedic period, women had same power and position as men, but later they were suppressed by men. But our Purana Veda gives same respect to both the men and women. Swamiji had also spoken about women empowerment. We all know that he was a great worshipper of his mother. He said that one who cannot respect his own mother, he can never respect others. Here I want to share a story about him. When Swamiji was in America, he saw that people there called their parents by their name. He was surprised and asked ladies about this, but their answer was more shocking. They said that they didn't want to be called mom because it sounded aged. But our India is different. Our religion teaches us to respect everybody and stay humble. But what is the purpose of our religion? The main purpose of our religion is to receive moksha or freedom. It means to free from life and reaching to the God. But that doesn't mean to neglect your duty. Swamiji said that religion, to help mankind, must be ready and able to help him in whatever condition he is, in servitude or in freedom, in the depths of degradation or on the heights of purity, everywhere equally. It should be able to come to his aid. Swamiji explained the meaning and purpose of Hinduism at World's Parliament of Chicago, at World's Parliament of Religion, Chicago. In 1893, he gave a fiery speech which blew the mind of people all over the world. He explained how Hinduism is still now relevant and will be relevant in the future because our religion gives warm welcome to every other religions, and that's why we can stay all over the world even without conquering it through bloodshed. In conclusion, I want to say that India is a land of religious tolerance. It is the only one country in this world where every religion is treated equally. Here we can pursue any religion without fear. But our religion teaches us to protect ourselves and not to retreat in front of wrong. To protect ourselves and to upgrade our country, we should perform our duty diligently. Swamiji said that to be good and to do good, that is the whole of religion. That's why work is the backbone of a country, so the religion says. Thank you.
Thank you, Barnini. The soft music was a value add. Our second participant this morning is Rima Roy Chaudhary from the online corporate batch, who has come here with the assurances and blessings of her online batchmates, stretching across Gurugram, Bhopal and Bangalore, I'm sure who are tuned in at this moment. She will speak on Bengal's much adored son, Subhash Bose, and of course India's darling child, Swami Vivekananda.
Thank you, Priya ma'am. My pranam, Thakur, Ma, Swamiji, and my Maharajji, and all respected teachers and my fellow students. Today I am going to speak about Netaji and Swami Vivekananda. Swamiji and Netaji both recognized the vast potential of youth power and strong heart to awaken Indian men and women of India. An attempt is made here to understand Swamiji's influence on Netaji and how latter carried out Swamiji's man-making mission. Netaji was born on 23rd January 1897. Significantly, Swami Vivekananda returned from the West in the same month of the same year with the determination that he would awaken the country from the stupor which it was then submerged. Although born in Swamiji's lifetime, Netaji never met him, as he was just 5 when Swamiji passed away in 1902. One day, Netaji went to visit a friend's house living next door, who was new to town. Glancing over his books, he saw a book, Works of Swami Vivekananda. He hardly had turned few pages when he realized here was something which he had been longing for. He borrowed some books from him, brought them home, and devoured them. He was thrilled to read those books. This is how, from the beginning of his youth, he was tremendously influenced by the life and works of Swamiji. Netaji wrote, "How shall I express my indebtedness to Sri Ramakrishna and Swami Vivekananda? It is under their sacred influence that my life got the first awakening. According to Netaji, Swamiji's unique greatness harmonizing East and West, religion and science, past and present. He believed Swamiji's teachings gave Indians an unprecedented self-respect, self-confidence and self-assertion. Swamiji wanted the youth to build a sterling character and participate in nation building. He said, I have faith in my country and especially in the youth of my country. Netaji kept this idea and the youth in the vanguard of his struggle for freedom. In his address at the third session of All India Youth Congress in Calcutta on 25th December 1928, he told the assembled youth movements are not reformist in outlook, but revolutionary. Netaji believed Swami Vivekananda preached the Hindu religion in its purest form. He trusted Vivekananda, who was destined to have a great influence on the future course of new awakening. Swami Vivekananda believed education was the panacea for social ills and individuals. He regarded women as Shakti. He wanted Indian women to acquire the valor of spirit and heroism and also learn self-defense. Similarly, Netaji envisaged an important role for women in India's fight for freedom. He created Rani Jhansi Regiment. Netaji was a patriot and his patriotism was embedded in his spiritual awareness, which he achieved by in-depth study of Swami Vivekananda, who taught how to love and worship country as Divine Mother. Swamiji said, walk unto death, I am with you. When I am gone, my spirit will walk with you. Netaji showed Swamiji was correct. He loved the country passionately and walked unto death for its freedom. Thank you.
As the number of saffron-clad figures are increasing in this room, so is our courage and determination. Pranam once again, Maharaj. Abhijit Chakraborty from the Computer Center will speak on the Indian national ideals of renunciation and service. Let us pick up these two magical nameplates and hammer them onto the walls of our houses and transform our homes into spiritual households so that we can also change our temporary addresses to permanent existence. Abhijit, please.
ধন্যবাদ ম্যাডাম। নমস্কার সকলকে। উপস্থিত প্রত্যেককে যথাযথ সম্মানে সম্বোধিত করে আমি আমার বক্তব্য শুরু করছি। আমার বক্তব্য স্বামীজি এবং ভারতীয় আদর্শ। স্বামীজি তার প্রথম পাশ্চাত্য ভ্রমণ সেরে যখন ভারতবর্ষে ফেরেন সেটা 1897 সাল এবং সেই প্রথম তিনি তার বক্তৃতা শুরু করেন কলম্বো থেকে। আমরা যদি তার বই দেখি তাহলে দেখব তার লেকচারস ফ্রম কলম্বো টু আলমোড়া। তো সেই বক্তৃতা তিনি কলম্বো থেকে শুরু করছেন এবং ধীরে ধীরে ভারতীয় উপমহাদেশে প্রবেশ করছেন এবং পরবর্তীকালে তিনি কলকাতার দিকে আসছেন এবং ভারতীয় উপমহাদেশে তিনি মাদ্রাজ প্রেসিডেন্সিতে একাধিক বক্তৃতা রাখেন এবং আজকে আমরা যে দুটি বক্তৃতার উপর ফোকাস করব সেটি হলো ভারতীয় জীবনে বেদান্তের কার্যকারিতা এবং ভারতের ভবিষ্যৎ। এই ভারতীয় জীবনে বেদান্তের কার্যকারিতা এবং ভারতের ভবিষ্যৎ, এই যে দুটি বক্তৃতা, এটা খুব যদি আমি ডিপলি বলি তাহলে উপনিষদ, বেদান্ত এগুলোর উপর ভীষণভাবে বলা হয়েছে। এত বিস্তৃত বলা, এত বিস্তৃত বক্তৃতা এই ক্ষুদ্র সময় হয়তো আমি বলতে পারবো না তার মূল কথাগুলো। তো আমি 3টি শব্দ বেছে নিয়েছি। তো এর আগে কয়েকটি কথা আমি বলতে চাই। সেটি হলো, স্বামীজি শিকাগোতে ভারতীয় সভ্যতার বা ভারতবর্ষের সমন্বয়ের কথা বলেছেন। তিনি বলেছেন যে আমরা হিন্দুরা সমস্ত ধর্মকে গ্রহণ করি, সমস্ত ধর্মকে সুন্দরভাবে গ্রহণ করি, তাকে সত্য বলে মানি। কিন্তু তিনি যখন ভারতে আসছেন, তিনি দেখছেন যে ভারতবর্ষে বেদান্ত নিয়ে নানা ধরনের সম্প্রদায় রয়েছে। কেউ অদ্বৈত বেদান্ত, কেউ দ্বৈত, কেউ বিশিষ্টাদ্বৈত, নানা ধরনের সম্প্রদায় তিনি দেখছেন। এখন আত্মতত্ত্ব যদি কেউ লাভ করতে চায়, কেউ যদি ব্যক্তিগত স্তরে ঈশ্বর দেখতে চায়, ঈশ্বর লাভ করতে চায়, তাদের জন্য শ্রীরামকৃষ্ণের সেই কথা অনন্ত মত অনন্ত পথ, সেই পথ তো খোলা রইল। কিন্তু যখন জাতিকে জাগিয়ে তুলতে হবে, তখন তো এত বিভিন্নতা থাকলে হয় না, তাদের একটা সামগ্রিকতা আনতে হয়। সেই জন্য তিনি আবার সেই সামগ্রিকতার দিকে বারবার ফোকাস করছেন সেই তার বক্তব্যের মধ্যে। কারণ স্বামীজি নিজে যখন বেদান্ত পড়েছেন, উপনিষদ পড়েছেন, তিনি যথেষ্ট উদারনৈতিক ভাবে পড়েছেন, এবং যার সান্নিধ্যে তিনি পড়েছেন ঠাকুর শ্রী রামকৃষ্ণ পরমহংসদেব, তিনিও তাকে উদারনৈতিক ভাবেই বুঝিয়েছেন বেদান্তের মূল বিষয়। ফলে তিনি অত জটিলতায় তার মন আবিল হয়নি। কিন্তু এই যে আবিলতা, এই আবিলতা তাকে পীড়িত করেছে, এবং তিনি বুঝেছেন যে এই আবিলতা থেকে বেরোতে না পারলে হিন্দু ধর্মের মধ্যে নানা ধরনের ভাগ, এবং এই ভাগ নিয়ে আমরা মারামারি কাটাকাটি করে আমাদের আর আত্মিক উন্নতি হবে না। তো উপনিষদ থেকে আমি মূল 3টি শব্দ গ্রহণ করেছি, যে 3টি শব্দের উপরে আমি আমার পরবর্তী কথাগুলি বলবো, যেটা স্বামীজি বোঝাতে চেয়েছেন। এক হলো প্রেম, দ্বিতীয় হলো জ্ঞান, এবং সর্বশেষ শক্তি। প্রেম কি? স্বামীজি সবসময় বলবেন এই বক্তৃতাগুলোতে যে চণ্ডালকে ব্রাহ্মণত্বে উন্নীত করতে হবে, চণ্ডালকে বেদ পাঠ করতে দিতে হবে। এবার এবং ভারতবর্ষে যে সমস্ত সম্প্রদায়গুলি রয়েছে, হিন্দু ধর্মের বিভিন্ন সম্প্রদায়গুলি রয়েছে, তাদের একত্রিত হতে হবে। এই একত্রিত হওয়া, এই যে একত্রিত হওয়ার প্রয়াস, এটা প্রেম না হলে হবে না। যদি প্রেম না থাকে তাহলে দ্বন্দ্ব হবে, দাঙ্গা হবে, এবং মারামারি কাটাকাটি হবে। কিন্তু স্বামীজি বারবার জোর দিচ্ছেন ভালোবাসার সম্পর্ক অনেক বড় সম্পর্ক, ভালোবাসার শক্তি অনেক বড় শক্তি। সেই জন্য প্রেমের মাধ্যমেই এই গোটা বিষয়কে পরিচালিত করতে তিনি চাইছেন। দ্বিতীয় বিষয় হচ্ছে জ্ঞান। কারণ আমরা ভারতীয়রা বা বিশেষত হিন্দুরা যদি বলি, আমরা আমাদের অতীত সম্পর্কে যথেষ্ট ওয়াকিবহাল নই। এই ওয়াকিবহাল না হওয়ার যে প্রবণতা, সেই প্রবণতা গ্রাস করেছে আমাদের মাইন্ডসেটেও, আমাদের মানসিকতাতেও। সেই কারণেই বিদেশি একটি জাতি, তারা এসে বছরের পর বছর শাসন করে যেতে পারে, তারা এসে আমাদের দেশের ইতিহাস লিখতে পারে, লিখে বলে দিতে পারে যে ভারতীয়দের সভ্যতা সমস্ত খারাপ, ভারতীয়দের ইতিহাস সমস্ত খারাপ, সমস্ত কিছু বাজে, তাদের নিজস্ব কালচার নেই, ইত্যাদি ইত্যাদি। কিন্তু স্বামীজি বলতে চাইছেন যে আমরা কোথায় আছি, সেই নিজের অতীতটা সম্পর্কে ধারণা, সেই জ্ঞানটা লাভ করা খুব জরুরি। এবং সেইখানেই তিনি উপনিষদকে বারবার এত জোর দিয়ে বলছেন যে উপনিষদ একমাত্র গ্রন্থ হতে পারে, বা উপনিষদ সেই গ্রন্থাবলী হতে পারে যারা আমাদেরকে সেই জ্ঞান সম্পর্কে, সেই ধারণা সম্পর্কে সত্যিকার একটা ছবি তুলে ধরতে পারে। কারণ প্রকৃত অতীত না জানলে, নিজের অতীতটা কি না জানলে, আমি প্রেজেন্টে বর্তমানে কোথায় দাঁড়িয়ে আছি সেটা সম্পর্কে সঠিক ধারণা করতে পারবো না। এবং সেই কারণেই তিনি বারবার বলছেন চণ্ডালের ব্রাহ্মণত্বে উন্নীতকরণ প্লাস ভারতবর্ষে সংস্কৃত শিক্ষার ব্যাপক প্রচলন, সেটা খুব দরকার। তৃতীয় যেটা, সেটা হচ্ছে শক্তি। শক্তি কেন? ভারতীয়রা দুর্বল, পরানুকরণ করে, সেই কারণে তিনি বারবার বলছেন অভি মন্ত্র। অভি মানে ভয় শূন্যতা। তিনি বলছেন বেদান্ত থেকে ভয় শূন্য অবস্থার দিকে যেন আমরা যেতে পারি। সেই ভয় শূন্যতাই তার এখানে মূল বিষয় হয়ে দাঁড়িয়েছে। কারণ তিনি চাইছেন সমস্ত দিক থেকে একটি জাতি ভয় শূন্য হোক, সম্পূর্ণভাবে তারা নিজের পায়ে উঠে দাঁড়াক। তবে এখানে দুটি কথা বলার আছে। শক্তি মানে কিন্তু এখানে দৈহিক মানসিক দুই ধরনের শক্তির কথাই তিনি বলেছেন। গীতা পাঠও যেমন তিনি গুরুত্ব দিয়েছেন, ফুটবলও তিনি গুরুত্ব দিয়েছেন। আমরা সত্যজিৎ রায়ের আগন্তুক ছবির কথা বলতে পারি 1991 সালে। সেখানে উৎপল দত্ত একটি কথা বলেন, জুভেনাইল উক্তি, যে মেন সানা ইন কর্পোরে সানো, অর্থাৎ সাউন্ড মাইন্ড ইন আ সাউন্ড বডি, অর্থাৎ সাউন্ড মাইন্ড ও সাউন্ড বডি দুটির কথাই স্বামীজি বহু আগে বলে গিয়েছেন তার সেই মাদ্রাজে প্রবর্তিত বক্তৃতাবলীর মধ্যে দিয়ে। এছাড়া কি আমরা দেখতে পাচ্ছি? এছাড়া আমরা দেখতে পাবো যে ধর্ম নিয়ে আমরা বারবার চর্চা করছি এই বক্তৃতাগুলোর মধ্যে। যদি ইন্ডেক্স করি যে ধর্ম কথাটি বহুবার আসবে, তো ধর্ম বিষয়টা কি? ধর্ম নিয়ে আজকের ভারতবর্ষ বড্ড উত্তাল, ভারতবর্ষ বড্ড অসহিষ্ণু। তো সেইখানে আমি ধর্ম কিভাবে রাখবো? সেটা হচ্ছে, ধর্ম হলো ভারতীয়ত্বের ধর্ম। এখানে ধর্ম মানে হিন্দু নয়, মুসলমান নয়, খ্রিস্টান নয়, জৈন নয়। এখানে ধর্ম হলো ভারতীয়ত্বের ধর্ম। অর্থাৎ 1911 সালে যখন ভারত বিধাতা লেখা হবে, রবীন্দ্রনাথ লিখবেন জয় 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 হে জয় রাজেশ্বর ভারত ভাগ্য বিধাতা। সেই কথাটা যেন প্রকারান্তরে স্বামীজি তার মাদ্রাজ বক্তৃতাগুলির মধ্যে দিয়ে এইখানে বুঝিয়ে দিলেন যে ভারতবর্ষকেই তিনি যেন আরাধ্য দেবতা দেখতে চান আগামী 50 বছর। কারণ জাতির উন্নতি, দেশের উন্নতি, সেইটাই তার আগের কথা। তারপর যা হবে সেটা পরবর্তীকালের বিষয়। এবং তর্কপ্রিয়তাকে তিনি কিন্তু খুব একটা খাটো করেননি, আবার খুব একটা গুরুত্বও দেননি। তিনি চেয়েছেন তর্কপ্রিয়তা থাকুক, কিন্তু তার সঙ্গে শক্তি, কাজ, কর্ম সেটাও যেন সমান তালে এগিয়ে চলতে পারে। এইটুকুই আমার বক্তব্য। আমি আপনাদের যদি কোনো প্রশ্ন করতে পারি।
ধন্যবাদ অভিজিৎ। তোমার যুক্তি তর্কের মধ্যে দিয়ে আমরা অনেক কিছু জানতে পারলাম। Next on the list we have Oyon Ghosh from the French section, urging us Indians to conquer all with spirituality. India needs you, and all hands are pointing towards this eternal truth. Sat Chit Anand. Oyon, now it is left upon you to further this cause to our august audience.
Thank you, ma'am. I offer my pranam to Thakur, Ma, Swamiji, and all Devat Maharaj present here. Respects and namaste to all present here. I am here to speak about one of Swami Vivekananda's heroic message: Up India and conquer the world with your spirituality. Every nation has a message to deliver, a mission to fulfill, a destiny to reach. The mission of India has been to guide humanity. While delivering a speech in Kanyakumari, Swamiji realized India's purpose, its message of spirituality, its mission to reach human beings the science of life, a destiny of wearing the crown of world leader. He spent his entire life in spreading the message. According to him, unity of man is the primary aim of religions. Swami believed that the East and the West must learn from each other, complement each other, and develop a new global culture which will flourish on the basis of freedom for all humanity and respect for pluralism. Unity and diversity will be the principle on which man will be able to evolve further, and man could be able to express fully the divinity that he potentially has. He had indeed visualized a union between the East and the West to be effected by a judicious exchange of Indian spirituality with Western materialistic knowledge. According to him, mere material achievements not rooted in spiritual outlook is sure route to chaos and disaster. Therefore, Swamiji wants us, Indians, to be proactive, even aggressive, in spreading the spiritual world over the world. Aggression here does not imply attack, but rather long-term, serious and a proactive effort. Conquest does not imply defeating or destroying others, but rather assisting everyone in their inner growth, preventing them from being destroyed. Up India and conquer the world with your spirituality, Swamiji said. Yes, as has already been stated on this soil, love must triumph over hatred. Hatred cannot triumph over itself. Materialism, with all of its ills, will never be vanquished by it. When armies try to conquer armies, they merely multiply and create human brutes. The West must be conquered with spirituality. They are gradually realizing that spirituality is what they require to survive as nations. They are anticipating it with bated breath. The men who are willing to carry the messages of India's great sages to every country on the planet. The men who are willing to give up all to ensure that this message reaches every corner of the globe. Such brave folks are needed to aid in the propagation of the truth. Such valiant people are needed to travel all abroad and aid in the dissemination of the Vedanta's tremendous truths. The entire Western world is on the verge of erupting, and it all might come crashing down tomorrow. They have looked in every corner of the world and have come empty-handed. They have drank deeply from the cup of joy and discovered its emptiness. Now is the time to strive hard to ensure that India's spiritual ideas reach far and wide in the West. Swamiji criticizes the Christian propaganda against idol worship in the Hindu culture and says that if idol worship could produce Ramakrishna Paramahansa, we better choose such idols than the condemning lot of reformers. The problem of caste discrimination in India in this regard can also be considered in a similar fashion. Though the law enforced has definitely helped the cause to some extent on the surface of it, the real problem of caste-based discrimination has not been eliminated from the hearts of the common people. Therefore, Swamiji says that we must go to the very root of the matter and to reform there. Spiritualism is base of reforms in India. Swamiji says that changes in India can only be brought through religion and spirituality. The spiritual knowledge of our country should be brought out of Vedas, Puranas, and also out of control of few people and should be scattered all over the land. Because Indian knowledge was spiritual and it traveled across the world like cold breeze which fell upon this world like dew that falls unheard, unseen. Let me conclude with a speech of Swamiji. He says, we must go out. We must conquer the world through our spirituality and philosophy. There is no other alternative. We must do it or die. The only condition of national life, of awakening vigorous national life, is the conquest of the world by Indian thought. Thank you.
The brilliant speeches which this royal ascetic made gave us hope, determination, and a dream to hang on. He appealed to the Americans, give them only half a piece of bread, and the whole world will not be big enough to hold their energy. That was Swamiji's burning faith in us, the Indians. The next paper presented by Tulika Banerjee will reiterate this vital fact. Tulika, over to you.
Thank you, Priya ma'am. Good morning, everyone. Pranam to Thakur Sri Sri Ramakrishna Paramahansa Dev, Sharadama, Swami Vivekananda, And pranam to our all respected Maharaji who are here, and pranam to our all beloved teachers, and welcome my all friends. I am Tulika Banerjee. Today I present a paper about Swami Vivekananda and freedom movement. It was in 1893, Swamiji stood up in the Parliament of Religion in Chicago to a thundering ovation and addressing the audience. He said that he was speaking on behalf of Hinduism. Swamiji spoke about Vedanta and also about our people and youth. As Swamiji said, all power is within you. Believe in that. Do not believe that you are weak. Stand up and express the divinity within you. Swamiji also said for the youth of India, my faith is in the younger generation. The modern generation, out of them will come my workers. They will work out the whole problem like lions. All these were spoken by Swamiji, and he inspired the youth of the British India at that time. Swamiji's book and his saying were a sources of inspiration and courage to many freedom fighters at that time. In colonized India, the freedom fighter had only two weapons other than gun, the Gita and Swamiji's book, the Vartaman Bharat, which created fear among the British government. The British government took steps to ban Swamiji's book so that they would not reach the freedom fighter. The way Swamiji's ideology and message inspired the Indian freedom fighter had an impact on the movement for independence. Mahatma Gandhi, Aurobindo Ghosh, Hemchandra Ghosh, Netaji Subhash Chandra, Sarala Devi Chaudhurani, etc. were prominent freedom fighters who were influenced by Swami Vivekananda. When Gandhiji came to Calcutta in 1901 to join the National Congress, he went to Bangalore to meet Swamiji, but could not meet Swamiji because Swamiji was not well. Swamiji died a few days later. On 30 January 1921, Mahatma Gandhi attended the birth anniversary celebration of Swamiji at Belur Mount. He was requested to give a speech and he spoke in Hindi. Among other things, he said that he bore great respect for late Swami Vivekananda. He had studied many of his books and said that his ideas agree in many respects with the great man. If Swamiji was alive, it would have been a great help for their national awakening. Hemchandra Ghosh was a revolutionary. He was a founder and foremost leader of Dhaka Mukti Sangha. Ghosh was also preceptor of Binoy Badal Dinesh, the three young revolutionaries who attacked the Writers' Building in Calcutta. Ghosh met Vivekananda with his friend when the latter was visited Dhaka in 1901. He wrote in his reminiscences that Swamiji's categorical instruction to them was, India should be free politically first, because nobody in the world community of nations will ever respect or listen to a colonized country. And take it from me that India shall be free. No power on earth can resist this fact. And I tell you, that moment is not very far. He also noted following concern of Swamiji. Foremost of all, have character. If you want to serve Mother India, be brave. Process to relieve her suffering after acquiring great power and courage. Hemchandra fondly remembers Swamiji not as a distant idol but as an elder brother who showed the way to the Indian youth as somebody very close to the heart of the revolutionaries who sacrificed their lives at such a young age for the country. Swamiji played a significant role in the spiritual evolution of nationalist leader Aurobindo Ghosh, who finally abandoned worldly life in the quest for the eternal. Sri Aurobindo has acknowledged that Swamiji's spirit visited him for several days in Alipur jail to instruct him regarding the higher level of spiritual consequence. Sri Aurobindo acknowledged his spiritual depth when he wrote, "Remember also that we derive from Ramakrishna. For myself, it was Ramakrishna who personally came and first taught me to this yoga. Vivekananda in the Alipur jail gave me the foundation of that knowledge which is basis on our sadhana." The revolutionary Subhash Chandra Bose was an admirer of Swami Vivekananda's philosophies. His Indian National Army (INA) was based on the philosophies of unity and sincerity. Bose described the Swamiji as someone who always thought of others before himself and someone who had no mercy for the oppressor, but at the same time was as innocent as a little child. After the independence, our first Prime Minister, Pandit Jawaharlal Nehru, as well as his daughter and his successor as Prime Minister, Mrs. Indira Gandhi, were greatly influenced by Swamiji. Mrs. Indira Gandhi declared the birthday of Vivekananda January 12 as National Youth Day. Dr. Sarvapalli Radhakrishnan described Vivekananda as the soul of this country. Swamiji continues to guide us through his ideas and teaching. He will remain a beacon light for now and for ages to come. Thank you. That's it.
Thank you, Talika. The short haircut that shapes Talika's bright face is not just fashionable, it is a gesture of generosity too. She has donated her hair to the cancer patients. So I can endorse she is actually in the right place doing the right thing. Moving on, the glorious connection between the penniless sannyasin and the passionate soldier Subhash Bose will be sketched once again by Santanika Tiwari. Netaji has said, "We should have one desire today, the desire to die, so that India may live." Santanika, the stage awaits you.
Thank you so much, ma'am. Firstly, pranam to Maharaj Ji, all sannyasi Jis, teachers and my friends. I am Santanika Tiwari and today I will be presenting a seminar on the topic of Subhash Chandra Bose and Swami Vivekananda. Firstly, looking at the background, I am sure everybody in the room will agree that both Swamiji and Vivekananda had contributed their bit for our nation. Swamiji was born as Narendranath Datta, an Indian Hindu monk and a philosopher. It is believed that he came from a very well-to-do family. His father was in a tool mill. He was a chief disciple of the 19th century Indian mystic Ramakrishna. It is believed that when he was as young as 13, he would practice meditation. Swamiji is best known for his speeches to 1893 World's Parliament of Religion. To quote Swamiji, "We are what our thoughts have made us. So take care about what you think. Your words are secondary. Thoughts live. They travel far." Netaji Subhash Chandra Bose. He was an Indian nationalist whose defiance against the British government made him very popular. To quote Netaji, one individual may die for an idea, but that idea will live incarnate itself in 1,000 lives. He founded the Azad Indian Army, also known as the Azad Hind Fauj. तुम मुझे खून दो, मैं तुम्हें आज़ादी दूंगा, still rings in the streets of India. He was the first leader in the world to give weapons to women to fight in a war. I am sure everybody will agree that he was the first person to believe that men and women are no different. Similarities. Swamiji believed in the unity of man. He believed in selflessness and in consciously trying to serve the larger community. He believed that no one but we can make India free. To quote Swamiji again, arise, awake, and stop not until the goal is reached. Subhash Chandra Bose believed in unity in diversity. He openly demanded for freedom. To quote Netaji, get up, we have no time to lose. It is believed that Subhash Chandra Bose was known for his patriotic zeal as a student. He also adored Vivekananda as his spiritual guru. To quote Netaji again, soldiers who remain faithful to their nation, who are always prepared to sacrifice their lives, are invincible. Now I would like to conclude. Both Swamiji and Netaji's life is a great example of leadership from which modern Indian leaders can learn lessons. They were both enthusiastic, disciplined, selfless, and inspiring, with a strong confidence on their own capability and a clear goal of independent India. To end with a quote that inspired me the most: all power is within you. You can do anything and everything. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Santamika. Sharwani Ghosh from the French department will elucidate why doctrines and dogmas and temples were secondary to Swamiji's concept of religion, the backbone of India.
Thank you, ma'am. I offer my pranam to Ramakrishna Paramahamsa, Ma Sharada, and Swami Vivekananda ji. I offer my respect to Maharajis, teachers, and my fellow friends. Today I am going to read a paper on a subject that is religion is the backbone of India. Utthishthasa jagrata prapya varano nibodhata. Arise, awake, and stop not till the goal is reached. Swami Vivekananda advised the then young generation to serve the country selflessly and wholeheartedly. When nation India was passing through a turbulent, changing period under British rule, the urban youth that time were being taught in Western literature and philosophy. They started questioning every existing Indian culture and religion along with its rituals. At the same time, the poor and the so-called low-caste people were looked down. They were exploited and tortured by the upper class of the society. Most of the people were superstitious and they believed rituals were synonymous with religion and spirituality. Swamiji also observed people were not seeking the true meaning of God, or most of them had no clue of Advaita Vedanta, which was the true essence of Hinduism. The socio-economic and political condition pushed them towards a fearful, weak, and poor society. Swamiji understood that before freeing India from British colonialism, this country had to be freed from the vices of this society. Only proper understanding of the religion could get rid of the negativity and would be able to make a strong, brave nation. Here I would go to the background of Narendranath Datta, who would become Swami Vivekananda later on. While being a student of Scottish Church College, Narendranath Datta met the Yoga Purush Sri Ramakrishna Paramahamsa at least 3 times before starting to believe in him. noticed several times that someday Narendranath would become a great famous man and he would lead the mankind in a very positive way. He understood that Narendranath was a seeker of true knowledge and he was a liberated soul. After the demise of his guru, Swamiji sailed from Bombay on May 31st, 1893. He joined the Parliament of Religions on Monday, September 11, 1893 in Chicago, US. Delegates representing nearly all countries and religions were present there. There was a large audience of 4,000 people. Swamiji started his speech by saying, "Sisters and brothers of America." People were moved heartily. They began to clap, rising up to their feet. Swamiji presented Hinduism as a religion which taught that all religions are true accordingly and every religion should be accepted by others. He mentioned that every religion was able to create purity, sacredness and kindness in human mind. Acceptance of other religions only could lead to peace and prosperity. Indian and so many other international newspapers praised him. India was recognized with great respect and glory in the Western world for the first time. After his return, Swamiji founded Ramakrishna Mission. He started to serve his country along with his disciples and devotees of young generation. He asked the youth to be proud of their ancestors and culture and not to look towards Western world. He wanted to make India strong and brave and emphasized on religion to be followed by understanding its real meaning. I would like to quote here his few lines. First, religion is the manifestation of divinity already in man. Religion is the idea which is rising the... Actually, I had laser surgery of my eyes, so I could not read it properly. Please excuse me. Religion is the idea which is rising the brute unto man and man unto God. The secret of religion lies not in the theories but in practice. To be good and to do good, that is the whole of religion. Each nation has a main current in life. In India, it is religion. He acknowledged the then Indians that in contrast to some other religions, Hinduism could be described as a philosophy that included a diversity of cultures, rituals, and customs. Hindu philosophy was mainly rooted in three fundamental scriptures: the Vedas, the Upanishads, and the Bhagavad Gita. Swamiji linked morality with control of mind, seeing truth, purity, and unselfishness built a man's character. Swami Vivekananda supported brahmacharya, meditation, and yoga behind the strength of anyone's physical and mental stamina. His teachings and philosophy are mainly reinterpretation of Vedanta and yoga and universalism. He blended religion with nationalism. He advised people to believe in faith. He himself had tremendous faith in that young generation. Till date, we have seen that the young generation is the main pillar to build any nation. Swamiji's advice to religion, which was mainly based on Vedanta and Gita, made a deep inspiration for mankind. It still exists and inspires us. Swamiji truly said, "We know that to the Indian mind there is nothing higher than religious ideals, that this is keynote of Indian life." India is indebted to Swamiji, and we, the citizens of India, have the duty to walk on the path sincerely shown by Swami Vivekananda. Om Shanti.
Om Shanti, Om Shanti. Rajoshi will enthrall us by unwrapping the precious gifts, one by one, which India was generous enough to share with the European civilization. But regretfully, neither did they have the etiquette to utter a thank you or the culture to offer something back in return. Over to you.
Thank you, ma'am. Good morning, my respected teachers and all my friends. Pranam to Thakur, Ma, Swamiji and Maharajis. Today I will discuss India's gift to the world. India, the land of pure love and renunciation, has a population nearly about 138 crores. When we look at the history of India, everyone is fascinated by the endless power of endurance. People of different religion and creeds have come to this country with different lifestyles and culture, but India has made everyone ours. As the message of India is Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam, whole world is one family. The great religious teacher Swami Vivekananda said, if there is any land that can lay claim to be the blessed Punya Bhumi, the land where humanity has attained its highest towards gentleness, towards generosity, towards purity, towards calmness, above all, the land of introspection and spirituality, it is India. From ancient time to present, India has gifted many concepts in the field of education, culture and heritage, spirituality, healthcare, science, literature, and many more, which enriched the whole world, and it is increasing day by day. India's contribution to different fields. Indian civilization has a strong tradition of science and technology. Ancient India was the land of sages and seers, as well as land of scholars and scientists. Concepts like symbol of zero, decimal system, theory of atoms, heliocentric system of solar are the sum of the notable gifts of India to the world. In literature, our epics, poems, dramas rank as high as those of any other languages in the world. Panchatantra, Jataka tales, fables of Ishar have been given to the world. The Indian classical music, which can be found in the oldest Hindu scriptures, the Vedas, is another gift to the world. Some Veda is said to have the late foundation for Indian music and consists mainly of hymns of Rig Veda. Ayurveda and yoga is an invaluable gift of India's ancient tradition. It embodies the unity of mind and body, thought and action, restraint and fulfillment, harmony between human and nature, a complete path of health and well-being. India's greatest contribution to the world is spirituality. In this blessed land, the foundation, the backbone, the life center is religion. It is heavily interlinked with Indian philosophy, which is one of the most enriched philosophy, as it is a combination of Indian and Indian subcontinental tradition, including Hindu philosophy, Buddhist philosophy, Jain philosophy. Spirituality is the most precious gift to the world. We cannot find any other country in the whole world which has done quite as much for the improvement of human mind as the philosophers of India. There has not been a single period in India's national history when spiritual giants have not contributed towards the upliftment of religion and spirituality. In 1893, an Indian Hindu monk and philosopher Swami Vivekananda in the Parliament of World Religions addressed everyone as sisters and brothers and preached Advaita Vedanta and Yoga to the Western world. Swamiji was the chief disciple of Sri Ramakrishna Paramhansa, who gradually brought Narendra to a Vedanta-based worldview. He provided the ontological basis for Shiva Kane Jeev Seva, the spiritual practice of service of human beings as actual manifestations of God. Advaitism or Vedanta, whatever we may call it, but the truth is that the Advaitism is the last word of religion and thought, and the only position from which one can look upon all the religions with love. The practical Advaitism, which looks upon all mankind as one's own soul, will be the religion of the future enlightened humanity. In the Parliament of World's Religions, the world learned the tolerance and universal acceptance from the most ancient order of monks of the world, the Vedic order of sannyasis, through Swamiji. This was the most precious gift to the world. India's contribution has always been spiritual. Its influence has always fallen upon the world like that of the gentle dew, unheard and scarcely marked, yet bringing into bloom the fairest flowers of the earth. Thank you.
Rajoshi, you look so divine in a dhoti, almost like a young brahmachari. I wish other youngsters would follow your fashion sense. Miss Shopani Hazra will present a paper on Swami Vivekananda and freedom movement. We are aware that desperate activists during the freedom struggle carried his photo with them and kept his books close to their hearts. The British government described Swamiji as a tough military who took cover in saffron clothes. Gandhiji felt 1,000 times more energized after he read Swamiji's books. All I can say in all humility is that he was a freedom fighter in the true sense of the word. For he fought for the freedom of the soul. Shopani, over to you.
I offer my pranam to Thakur Ma Swamiji. Namaste to all revered Sannyasi Maharaj present here. My topic goes on with Swami Vivekananda and freedom movement. I start by saying an old Sanskrit proverb which explains freedom as Swa-atma pradhanyam asya iti swatantrata, which means freedom is an important ingredient to mankind, perhaps as salt to food. Freedom is necessary and unavoidable. On 125th anniversary of the historic address of Swami Vivekananda at Chicago, the governor of Maharashtra, C.H. Vidyasagar Rao, said, if French Revolution was inspired by French philosophers like Voltaire, Rousseau, Indian freedom movement was also inspired by the most revered Swami Vivekananda. The 19th century, when all the national liberations were happening across the whole world, the collective goal of independence movement was to attain a self-determined nation which values the voice of its people. His idea of self-determination became the agents of the nationalism. The political struggle for freedom has evidently within it a cultural struggle which Swami Vivekananda addressed. He felt that recovery of India's confidence in their own culture and civilization was equally important. He was therefore one of those who forcefully presented Indian civilization as something her people could be proud of. When the real history of India will be unearthed, it will be proved as in the matters of religion or in the matters of fine arts, India is the primary guru of the whole world. The main feature of Swami Vivekananda's thoughts are his writings, which forms a part of the nationalist response to the imperialist critique of India's civilization. Within the nationalist school, he exclusively rejected the spiritual point of view and welcomed modernization. Swamiji also emphasized on the unity of Indian people despite the differences in caste, color, hierarchy, language, culture, etc. He had spoke about the religious pluralism and also condemned casteism and upheld an ideal which is popularly known as practical Vedantism. Charles Tegard's report on Vivekananda's link with the Viplavis. I intend to mention some of the new evidence available from the police reports, the published works of Swami Vivekananda and his message to the youth form the part of the syllabus for training militants. As regards to the big conspiracy case, which may often known as the famous the Lahore conspiracy case, where Rajbihari Bose as well as the 5 accused Bengali youths were allegedly the members of Ramakrishna mission. Similarly, the police claimed that the Borishal conspiracy of 1913 was hatched under the Ramakrishna mission. So this kind of evidence the police gathered to show that how Swami Vivekananda inspired the militants who used the ashrams for their own work. The second point is regarding the individuals seeking the shelter under this mission. We have some instances like Jyotin Mukherjee, popularly known as Bagha Jyotin, or Pulindas. The police reports that members of the revolutionary party seized upon the teachings of Vivekananda and adopted them to suit their own needs. The nationalists in general were influenced by Swamiji's writings, his attack on the idea of renunciation as the only way of spiritual advancement, his strong message of fearless engagement in action inspired many younger sections of nationalists. Needless to say, Subhash Chandra Bose was one of them. When I previously said that he developed India's pride in the past, what I meant was that his triumph in Chicago at the Parliament of Religions is usually regarded as an assertion of India's spiritual superiority. He was received with wild adulation and admirations by the citizens. Swamiji was not looked upon only as a spiritual leader, but also looked upon as a flag bearer of Indian nation. Chakravarti Rajgopalachari said, "But for him we would have lost our religion and would not have gained our freedom." Before I sign off, I am going to leave all with a little message of Swami Vivekananda. That dare to be free, dare to go far as your thoughts leads to, and dare to carry that in your entire life. Perhaps this daring thought had played a push factor to the nationalists that resulted in a freestanding India. Thank you.
Thank you, Shobhani. Lovina Roy will now give us a holistic view of Swamiji, the emotional gentleman, the leader par excellence, holy ascetic, darling child, and patron saint of India. Lovina.
ओम नमः श्री जति राजाय विवेकानंद सूर्य सच्चित सुख स्वरूपाय सामिनी तापोहारिणी। উপস্থিত পূজনীয় মহারাজকে আমার সশ্রদ্ধ প্রণাম জানাই এবং উপস্থিত সকল গুরুজনকে আমার প্রণাম জানিয়ে আমি বক্তব্য শুরু করছি। 1863 খ্রিস্টাব্দের 12 জানুয়ারি সোমবার মা ভুবনেশ্বরী দেবীর কোল আলোকিত করে অবতীর্ণ হলেন বীরশ্রেষ্ঠ বীরেশ্বর। সেই ছোটবেলা থেকেই নরেনের মানবপ্রেম, ভ্রাতৃত্ববোধ, সহমর্মিতা একটু একটু করে প্রকাশিত হতে থাকে, যা আমরা স্বামীজির জীবনে অনুসরণ করলেই জানতে পারি। একমাত্র এই ছোট্ট নরেনই পেরেছিল তার পরনের শেষ কাপড়টুকু দান করে দিতে। স্বামীজির জীবন হলো এক রোমাঞ্চকর ইতিহাস, যার অবিশ্বাস্য ঘটনাগুলি মানবিকতার ইতিহাসের এক চির জ্বলন্ত দলিল। শ্রীরামকৃষ্ণের মতে স্বামীজি হলেন নরঋষি, সপ্তর্ষি মণ্ডল থেকে এসেছেন। শ্রীরামকৃষ্ণ বিবেকানন্দের হৃদয়ে মানব সেবা ও আধ্যাত্মিকতার দাবাগ্নি জ্বালিয়ে যেমন তাকে দগ্ধ করতেন, আবার স্বামীজিকে স্তব স্তুতিও করতেন। গুরু শিষ্যকে এতটা মর্যাদা দিচ্ছেন এমন দৃষ্টান্ত আর দেখা যায় না। বিবেকানন্দ যে সাহস, যে বীর্যবর্তার কথা বলেছেন তার শ্রেষ্ঠ নিদর্শন তিনি নিজেই। পিছু হটতে শেখেননি কখনো। ভয় কাকে বলে তা তিনি জানতেন না। তার বাণী ছিল, এগিয়ে চলো, নিজের লক্ষ্যে না পৌঁছানো পর্যন্ত থেমো না। তার বাণী পড়তে পড়তে পাশ্চাত্য মনীষী রোমারোলা বলেছিলেন, কত বছর হলো তিনি চলে গেছেন, তবু এখনো যখন তার বাণী পড়ি তখন মনে হয় যেন আমার দেহের ভিতর দিয়ে কে যেন বৈদ্যুতিক শক্তি চালিয়ে দিচ্ছে। যেমন ছিল তার রাজকীয় চেহারা, তেমনি রাজকীয় চরিত্র। তাকে পাশ্চাত্যের পত্রপত্রিকা অনেক সময় কিং বিবেকানন্দ বলে অভিহিত করত। রোমারোলা লিখছেন, তাকে বহু জনের মধ্যে প্রথম ছাড়া দ্বিতীয় ভাবতে পারি না। ভারতবর্ষ সব সময় থাকতো তার হৃদয় জুড়ে। এই ভারতকে ঘিরেই ছিল তার কত স্বপ্ন, কত পরিকল্পনা। বিবেকানন্দ ভারতকে ভালোবাসতেন শুধুমাত্র তার জন্মভূমি বলে নয়, ভারত পূর্ণভূমি বলে। ভারতের প্রতিটি ধূলিকণা তার কাছে পবিত্র ছিল। সত্যই ভারতের ধর্ম, সত্যই ভারতের ঈশ্বর। তাই স্বামীজি বলতেন, সত্যের জন্য সবকিছু ত্যাগ করা যায়, কিন্তু কোনো কিছুর জন্য সত্যকে ত্যাগ করা যায় না। তিনি বলতেন, ভারতের বেঁচে থাকা দরকার শুধুমাত্র ভারতবর্ষের জন্য নয়, সমগ্র বিশ্বের জন্য। পরানুকরণ, দাসসুলভ মনোভাব তাকে বড়ই কষ্ট দিত। হীনমন্যতা, পরানুকরণ ও দাসসুলভ মনোভাবই ছিল তৎকালীন ভারতবর্ষের সবচেয়ে বড় কলঙ্ক। তাই স্বামীজি দেশবাসীকে এই কলঙ্ক থেকে মুক্ত করার জন্য ডাক দিয়ে বলেছিলেন, হে বীর, সাহস অবলম্বন করো, সদর্পে বলো, আমি ভারতবাসী, ভারতবাসী আমার ভাই, মূর্খ ভারতবাসী, দরিদ্র ভারতবাসী, ব্রাহ্মণ ভারতবাসী, চণ্ডাল ভারতবাসী আমার ভাই, আমার রক্ত, ভারতবাসী আমার প্রাণ, ভারতের দেবদেবী আমার ঈশ্বর, ভারতের সমাজ আমার শিশুসজ্জা, আমার যৌবনের উপবন, আমার বার্ধক্যের বারাণসী। বলো ভাই, ভারতের মৃত্তিকা আমার স্বর্গ, ভারতের কল্যাণ আমার কল্যাণ। স্বামী বিবেকানন্দের কাছে ধর্ম ছিল জাতীয়তাবাদের প্রেরণাস্থল। তিনি চেয়েছিলেন যুব সমাজের মধ্যে ভারতের অতীত সম্পর্কে গর্ববোধ এবং ভবিষ্যৎ সম্পর্কে আশার মনোভাব সঞ্চারিত করতে, আর চেষ্টা করেছিলেন তাদের মধ্যে আত্মবিশ্বাস ও আত্মমর্যাদাবোধকে জাগিয়ে তুলতে। স্বামীজির অগ্নিগর্ভ বাণী তৎকালীন মুক্তি আন্দোলনের ভিত্তি প্রস্তুত করে দিয়েছিল। নেতাজি সুভাষ চন্দ্র বসু বলছেন, ফ্রিডম ফ্রিডম ইজ এ সং অফ দ্য সোল। এই বাণী যখন স্বামীজির অন্তরের রুদ্ধ দুয়ার ভেদ করিয়া নির্গত হয়, তখন তাহা দেশবাসীকে মুগ্ধ ও উন্মত্তপ্রায় করিয়া তোলে। স্বামীজি দেশের সর্বত্র দেখেছেন মেরুদণ্ডবিহীন, নির্বীর্য, দুর্বল মানুষ। তাই তিনি বলেছেন, গীতার চেয়ে ফুটবল খেললে তাড়াতাড়ি ঈশ্বরের কাছে পৌঁছানো যায়। স্বামীজি তরুণদের উদ্দেশ্য করে বলতেন, তোমরা হৃদয়বান হও, প্রেমিক হও, মানুষ হও এবং অপরকে মানুষ হতে সহায়তা করো। মানুষ তৈরি যেন ছিল তার জীবনব্রত। আত্মত্যাগের অগ্নিমন্ত্রে দীক্ষিত এই সন্ন্যাসী তার সমগ্র জীবন দশা জুড়ে সর্বধর্ম সমন্বয়ের মিলন ক্ষেত্র প্রদীপ্ত করে গেছেন। বৈদান্তিক হয়েও তিনি ভগবান বুদ্ধের পরম ভক্ত ছিলেন। বুদ্ধের সম্মুখে তিনি নিজেকে ধুলার মতো নত করে দিতেন। একবার খ্রিস্ট সম্বন্ধে তার বক্তৃতা চলাকালীন একজন স্বামীজিকে প্রশ্ন করায় তিনি গম্ভীর হয়ে গেলেন এবং মধুর কণ্ঠে উত্তর দিলেন, যীশুখ্রিস্টের সময় যদি আমি জীবিত থাকতাম তাহলে আমার চোখের জলে নয়, বুকের রক্ত দিয়ে তার পা ধুইয়ে দিতাম। মম্পসি জাহাজে চেপে আসা মার্গারেটকে ব্রহ্মচর্য মতে দীক্ষা দিলেন এবং নাম দিলেন নিবেদিতা। স্বামীজির নির্দেশিত পথে হেঁটেই এক বিদেশিনী ভারতের ঘরের মেয়ে ও ভগিনী হয়ে উঠলেন। স্বামীজি জানতেন নিবেদিতার শিক্ষা, ঐকান্তিকতা, পবিত্রতা, অসীম ভালোবাসা, দৃঢ়তা, সর্বোপরি তার ধমনীতে প্রবাহিত কেল্টিক রক্তের স্রোত তাকে আজকের যুগের একজন প্রকৃত আদর্শ নারী হিসেবে গড়ে তুলবে। দণ্ডকমণ্ডল হাতে নেওয়া এই নবীন পরিব্রাজক সন্ন্যাসী ভারত আত্মার যথার্থ স্বরূপ সন্ধান করেন এবং বলেন, বহু রূপে সম্মুখে তোমার ছাড়ি কোথা খুঁজেছ ঈশ্বর, জীবে প্রেম করে যেই জন সেই জন সেবিছে ঈশ্বর। বহু জন হিতায়, বহু জন সুখায়, আমৃত্যু লোহার মতো শক্ত শরীর তিল তিল করে দান করলেন মানুষের সেবায়। রবীন্দ্রনাথ ঠাকুর যথার্থই বলেছেন, যদি ভারতবর্ষকে জানতে চাও তাহলে বিবেকানন্দকে জানো। নমস্কার।
নবীনা, তোমার বক্তৃতা মর্মস্পর্শ করে গেল। অনেক ধন্যবাদ। Arpita Jha now will expound on today's most popular presentation topic, Swamiji and Netaji.
My pranam to Thakur, Ma and Swamiji. A very good morning to present here everyone. I am going to speak on Netaji and Swamiji. Netaji and Swamiji, they are two great luminaries of our country. One, a great freedom fighter who was brave enough to form an army to fight the British and seek foreign help. The other, a saint, a philosopher, and our guide still now. His teachings are a beacon light for now and for ages to come. Indian independence activist Subhash Chandra Bose considered Vivekananda as his spiritual teacher. He is called Vivekananda, a full-blooded masculine personality and a fighter to the core of being. Netaji Subhash Chandra Bose had never met Swami Vivekananda as he was just 5 when Swamiji passed away in 1902. But since he was tremendously influenced by the life and works of Swamiji and his guru Sri Ramakrishna. In Swamiji's honor, the Government of India in 1984 declared his birthday as National Youth Day. Netaji said, if Swamiji had been alive today, he would have been my guru. That is to say, I would have accepted him as my master. Needless to say, as long as I live, I shall be loyal and devoted to Sri Ramakrishna and Vivekananda. Netaji's thirst for a spiritual life was indomitable. While he was a student of Presidency College in 1913, he even wanted to leave his home in order to join Ramakrishna mission and become a sannyasin. With that desire, he made Swami Brahmananda the then president of the Ramakrishna mission at Belur-Mott. The clairvoyant Swami Brahmananda could envision his future and told him that sannyasin was not his cup of tea. His love for the country would lead him decidedly to the realm of politics, where he would play a major role for the country's emancipation. This change of the course his life for good, though his inclination to lead a reclusively life was still quite strong. Swami Brahmananda's vision about him proved true after some time. It is well known how famously he revealed himself in Indian politics. He confided the incident to his friend Dilip Roy, who made its mention in his autobiography. Swamiji said, "Worked unto death, I am with you, and when I am gone, my spirit will work for you." Netaji showed Swamiji was correct. He loved the country passionately and worked unto death for its freedom. Netaji repeated Swamiji's strategy in the area of politics of what Swamiji did in the domain of religion, going abroad to uphold the banner of Indian alone at mistakes. Netaji was a patriot, and his patriotism was embedded in his spiritual awareness, which he achieved by dint of his in-depth study of Sri Ramakrishna and Swamiji, who taught him how to love and worship the country as Divine Mother, offering everything to her lotus feet for his liberation as well as for the entire race. He saw in Swamiji a pathfinder as the spiritual father of the modern nationalist movement and followed him to become a spiritual patriot. Thank you.
Thank you, Urpita. We will go for a much needed tea break, which is being so generously arranged for us by the Institute. My dear audience, do enjoy your cup of tea and then don't forget your way back to the auditorium for more replenishment of the soul. Thank you. For 15 minutes. Please come back to the auditorium after 15 minutes, all of you.
Good realization after so many years. আমি সব ধরনেরই আপনি বলি আচ্ছা আমি তো ম্যাম নয় তোমার নাম ছিল নয় আমি তো ছিলাম না আমি আমার শরীরটা বেশ খারাপ দুদিন একটু বেটার কালকে আবার ক্লাস ছিল এসেছিলাম এসে আমি আবার কালকে সকাল থেকে উঠে দুবার আমি চান মাইগ্রেন নিয়ে আমি প্রেশার সে চান করিয়ে প্রেশার আমার ছিল সেটা আমার মা যখন
How are you, madam?
She's angry with her husband more. Otherwise, he's not picking up her call.
My mother is not there and I'm getting called. Yeah. Remove the bhakta and your head.
बहुत कंजूस है किसी को अच्छे मार्क्स नहीं not one got 50 out of 50. Who is that?
That's right. You are.
Rima.
No. Abhijit.
Come to sir. इसको पे
No, other 37 have given Rajoshi. Hemani, conjusi, yes.
क्या कवर कर रहे हो ब्रेक में चाय के लिए
Recently गए
মিষ্টি তো খাবে না
मैम এটা একদম জার্নাল কপি কি ইয়ে ডায়েরি আচ্ছা মোস্ট ইম্পর্টেন্ট পার্সন না চা খাই চল
পেছনটা বসো। তাহলে একটা না এই বসবে একটা সিট চালিয়ে হ্যাঁ আপনি সামনে চলে আসুন। হ্যাঁ আপনি সামনে চলে আসুন। ব্যাস মাঠে যেমন ঘুরেছি না
Welcome back all. The seed is put in the ground and earth and air and water are placed around it. Does the seed become the air or the water or the earth? No. The same is with religion. The Christian is not to become a Buddhist or a Hindu, God forbid. But each must assimilate the spirit of the other and yet preserve his individuality and grow according to his own law of growth. Words have a magical power and words enable the orator to sway the audience in his favor and to dictate their decision. Rajesh and Shipra will now touch upon the three main crying needs of India, which the mighty voice of awakened India had expounded upon with profound logic and powerful arguments.
Thank you, ma'am. First of all, I would like to say thank you. Sorry. Hello everyone, good morning all of you. First of all, I would like to say thank you for giving us a golden opportunity to deliver a speech on Swami Vivekananda. Our topic is the crying needs of India. In this very house, Swami Vivekananda or Narendra was born in 1863, the 12th of January. From Simla Street to the Avenue of Chicago was a very long journey, filled with struggle and hardship, which we can't even imagine. From here to there, he carried with him our sorrow, our hope, and our crying needs. It is our sincere endeavor to bring forward this picture in this presentation. Swamiji said, whatever you think, that you will be. If you think yourself weak, you will be. If you think yourself strong you will be. Swamiji personified the eternal energy of the youth and their restless quest for the truth. His message for the youth is truly awakening and inspiring. According to Swamiji, once in a day, if you don't come across any problems, you can be sure that you are traveling in a wrong path. That's why he is considered by many as an icon of fearless courage. Swamiji gave his speech about crime needs of India while staying in USA. In India, during the terrible famines, thousands died from hunger. Even then, you people did nothing. When I came here to seek help for my poor countrymen, and I fully realized how difficult it was to get help for heathens. It's break that India's millions are crying for food with parched throat. Now, few specific slides on crime needs of India will be represented by my friend Sitra. Sitra, please go ahead.
Thank you, Rajesh. Now I am going to discuss with you 3 basic needs of India. The primary crime need I will begin with is hunger. When we are biting into a pizza or a burger or munching on a Cadbury, somewhere someone is begging for food. And this picture has not changed till now. How did this situation come about? There are many causes. It can relate to unemployment, can relate to distribution system or overpopulation, and many more reasons. According to the report of Global Hunger Index 2021, India has slipped 7 places to rank 101 among 116 countries, and this is quite a grave issue. Now, what can be done if we take our first step forward? If we stop wasting food, fluctuation in market price, implementation of new ration laws, or changes in distribution system. So long as the millions live in hunger and ignorance, I hold every person a traitor who having been educated at their expense but pays not the least heed to them. These lines were spoken by Swamiji while speaking about the hunger crisis. There is no chance for the welfare of the world unless the condition of women is improved. By this statement, I think we can understand our second important need of India, and that is women education. Here again, I quote Swamiji. We all know India is a developing country, but some places still exist where women are not allowed to complete her primary education. They are getting married in their childhood. In the time of 1893, when Swamiji gave the speech about crime needs of India, the situation was very dismal for women, that time pan-India. That's why Swamiji realized ignorance of women was the main hindrance for the progress of India. In this matter, he was solely influenced by his biological mother, Mata Bhuvaneshwari Devi, and his spiritual mother, Ma Sharoda. He insisted that women should be put in the position of power to solve their own problem in their own way. And this cannot be possible without education. Now, religious tolerance. What are we? A Christian? Hindu? Sikh? Muslim? No. The answer is we all are human beings. Inside our body there is no caste and color. We should eat for living and we have to do work. Then why intolerance toward other religion? Okay, well, this has no particular answer. We don't know what makes us cut each other's throat. But how can we stop that? This question has a logical answer. We should respect other beliefs. Whatever I know, every holy book tells us to believe in God, make peace, help the poor. Instead of fighting, we should look at about real crisis. Religious tolerance is necessary, especially when a variety of people with different religious beliefs live in one community or nation. I would like to emphasize that these crime needs still exist, just like they did in the past. However, Due to the progress that our motherland India has made, this problem over the decades have reduced in their intensity. Much more needs to be done, especially by the youth. So, come on India, let's make Swamiji proud of us. Now, I will leave it upon my friend Rajesh to wind up this wonderful topic.
Thank you, Silka. Before ending our PPT, I would like to say a doha which perhaps describes Swamiji more than any others. संत तुलसीदास जी इन पंक्ति के माध्यम से कह गए, परहित सरिस धर्म नहीं भाई, पर पीड़ा सम नहीं अधिमाई। यानी परोपकार से बड़ा कोई धर्म नहीं है और दूसरों को पीड़ा देने से बड़ा कोई अधर्म नहीं है। आखिरी दो लाइनें स्वामी जी के बारे में बोलना चाहूंगा। काले गोरे का कोई भेद नहीं, हर दिल से हमारा नाता है, कुछ और ना आता हो हमको, हमें प्यार निभाना आता है। जय हिंद, जय भारत।
Jai Hind, Jai Bharat. I don't think Mrs. Maitreyi Ghosh needs to feel even a wee bit nervous post-tea break, as she can especially depend upon the charisma of Swamiji to bring back the attention and flavor in full measure.
Thank you, ma'am. My pranam to Sri Ramakrishna, Saradama, and Swami Vivekananda. Respected Principal Maharaj, respected teachers, respected non-teaching staff, and my beloved fellow students. I feel proud to say something on Swamiji and Netaji in this august house. Swamiji and Netaji are the two iconic characters in the world of ours. They were not contemporaries, but the entire life of Netaji was illuminated by the message of Swamiji. During his boyhood, once he went to the house of his neighbor and came across the works of Swamiji. He borrowed those books and he pored over them, and he was thrilled to the marrow of his bones. There took place a havoc change in him. Everything was turned upside down. His parents were very much worried. When his father one day asked him, "What are your ideals?" he immediately replied, "Swamiji's ideals are my ideals." This undaunted spirit he carried throughout his entire life. He was never afraid of questioning the authority, however powerful he or she might be. He questioned the British Raj, he questioned Mahatma, he questioned Adolf Hitler on different issues. It is learned when he was a student of Presidency College, he felt an urge to take sannyas and met the then president of Belur Math and expressed his willingness. But Maharaj Ji discouraged him, saying that sannyas was not his cup of tea, as he had a different role to play for the emancipation of his motherland. But spirituality was very much dormant in him. He used to meditate, he used to read Gita, and he took Swamiji as a spiritual pathfinder in the nationalist movement and thought himself as a spiritual patriot who sacrificed his entire life to remove the fetters of his motherland. Swamiji and Netaji both thought that human beings are the manifestation of Param Brahma, Swa Aham. We find that Netaji's socialism was not based on Marxian principles, which rather emphasized on material gain. He was rather influenced by the value-based social principles of Swami Vivekananda, where everyone would get equal opportunity to flourish, no discrimination on the basis of caste and creed. And later on, he wrote to his brother Sharad Chandra Bose, "What is India today and what was she now? What a great change." But there is hope yet, as there is Swamiji with his angelic appearance, with his large piercing eyes, to teach the entire world the spiritual heritage of Hindu philosophy. Once he wrote to his classmate from Cambridge, K. Chatterjee, that Swami Vivekananda has bequeathed us many ideas and we have to implement them. And after coming back to India, he went to attend a lunch party organized in his honor to his same friend's house. And he asked his friend to recite the poem of Sang Sannyasi. And his friend did so, and he came back without touching food, saying that, leave aside the food, even my soul's hunger are fulfilled. Subsequently, when he met the students of Chinsura, he told that if India is to be free, it cannot be a land of Hindus or Muslims. It must be a land of all religious communities. And this is the very gospel of Swamiji's life. And this is applicable to India, which is full of diversities even today. And both, we find Swamiji and Netaji both were great orators. All of you know that Swamiji went to Chicago in 1893 to attend the Parliament of Religions and enthrall the whole world by his immortal speech, Sisters and Brothers of America. He put forward the spiritual heritage of Vedanta philosophy to the entire Western world. Similarly, Netaji also was the first among the freedom fighters to make use the international forum to take help of the foreign government for India's independence. He went to Germany, he went to Rangoon, then he went to Singapore and mesmerized the whole world by his immortal speech, give me God and I will give you freedom. To sum up, I would like to mention Netaji in 1936 wrote a letter to Swami Sundaranand, the then editor of Udbodhan Patrika, a monthly journal of Ramakrishna Mission. Had Swamiji been alive today, he would have been my guru, or I would have rather accepted him as my guru. If really Swamiji had been alive then, he too would have found Vivekananda as a very, very disciple, befitting disciple. Thank you all for giving me patient hearing. Namaskar, Jai Hind, Jai Bharat.
Unofficial ambassador of India on a Monday night under the Brooklyn Ethical Association in Long Island Historical Society proclaimed to the world about the wondrous beauties of India, whether in literature, mathematics or ethics. He went on to say, Aesop fables were copied from an old Sanskrit book and all European languages came from Javanized Sanskrit. Though the world has cursed and trampled her sons and daughters, India continues to be generous. This patience perhaps she derives from the game of chess, which India first unearthed. Shomujit Gayan, over to you.
Thank you, ma'am. Pranam to Sri Sri Thakur, Guruma, Swamiji and all the Maharaj present here, respected teachers and my dear friends. Today I am Shomojit Gayan going to speak about India's gift to our world. Swami Vivekananda, the Hindu monk, delivered a lecture at Brooklyn Ethical Society before a fairly large audience. His subject was India's gift to our world. Swamiji spoke about wondrous beauties of his native land, where stood the earliest cradle of ethics, arts, literature, science, and the eternity of whose son and the daughter sung by all the travelers. Then he began to speak what India has gifted to our world. The biggest gift that India gifted to our world is religion. In religion, she has exerted a great influence on Christianity, on the very much teaching of Christ, could be traced back to those of Buddha, like the latter's birth, the circulation from the world, number of his apostles, and the ethics of his teaching are same as Buddha, living many hundred years ago before him. In Hinduism, Swamiji also said about the Vedanta and universal knowledge of Upanishad, where he claimed that there is no reason to access the knowledge of Upanishad on the basis of caste and creed. Swamiji propagated that the essence of Hinduism was based in Adi Shankaracharya's Advaita Vedanta. Vivekananda said that absolute truth is one, with immanent and transcendent. Swamiji's New Vedanta reconciles that Dvaita and Advaita, Brahman is one with Saguna and Nirguna. India also gifted us the purpose of religion, and ultimate goal of every person, that is to get moksha, or freedom from the cycle of life and death. And that can be only happen through true devotion to God. So the conclusion is that Swamiji's message is what we get from the West is technology, but India gave the entire world religion and spirituality. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Swamiji. You spoke very confidently. Srijata Ganguly on Swamiji's influence over Netaji. Please share with us the tale of the two heroes spun in gold.
My pranam to Thakur, Ma and Swamiji. Good afternoon, respected Maharaj, my respected teachers and friends. Today I am going to talk on the topic Netaji and Swamiji. The bright eyes that have the ability to move mountains, those powerful speeches which inspired millions of people with strong, courageous, fierce personality that they have. They who always motivated people to walk on the path of truth. The leaders, the pioneers were none other than Swami Vivekananda and Netaji Subhash Chandra Bose. They may have chosen different ways to bring change in our motherland, but they are beloved by many Indians, especially by Bengalis. We worship them and we remember them with love and reverence in our hearts. Swami Vivekananda, the greatest spiritual leader of India, a disciple of Sri Ramakrishna Paramhamsa, imparted many contributions towards the nation and the world at large. Jiva as Shiva, to serve humanity as the manifestation of divinity. It was the teaching of Sri Ramakrishna and was the main mantra of his life. Swamiji had a deep sense of self-respect and he wanted all Indians to be equally conscious of their self-respect. He taught Indians to love and respect their country. He taught us how to be spiritually enriched. Netaji Subhash Chandra Bose was the greatest Indian freedom fighter and Indian nationalist whose patriotism towards India has left a mark on many Indians. He was highly inspired by Swami Vivekananda and considered him as his guru. We all know how great and courageous Netaji was. We read about his fearless walks, his achievements, and get inspiration from them. We must know how he became so fearless that even Britishers trembled in fear when they heard his name. Under the sacred influence of Swami Vivekananda and Sri Ramakrishna, Netaji received his first awakening. His in-depth study of Sri Ramakrishna and Vivekananda helped him to achieve spiritual awareness. When Netaji was just 15 years old and was having a difficult time in life about determination and concentration in life goals, Swamiji entered his life as a guide and as a lighthouse amidst turbulent oceans. Netaji found some of books of Swamiji at his relative's house, and that turned out to be his greatest help. He gave all his time to read Swamiji's books, letters, his speeches from Colombo to Almora, which inspired him the most. Atmano mokshartam jagat hitayacha, for your own salvation and for service of humanity. That was to be his life goal. From Vivekananda, Netaji turned gradually to his master Sri Ramakrishna, whose teachings helped him to gain spiritual awareness in life. Only through renunciation was realization possible. This saying was the pillar of Netaji's life. Netaji became determined, confident, and courageous, and no longer a boy who was afraid to face difficulties. He found more self-control and peace of mind. Swami Vivekananda was a great help to him to free his mind from superstitions. One of Swamiji's missions in life was to bring about a reconciliation between science and religion, and it was possible through the Vedanta. In college days, Netaji and his friends were highly involved with the teachings of Sri Ramakrishna and Swamiji. Their main goal was to bring about a synthesis between religion and nationalism in practical life. When Netaji was a student of Presidency College, he left home to join Ramakrishna Mission to become a sannyasi. But when he met Swami Brahmanandaji Maharaj, Maharaj understood what he was capable of and advised him to work for our nation. The deep love and respect that Netaji had for India cannot be expressed in words. We all know how he contributed his life to save our motherland. Swamiji always emphasized education, youth development, and women empowerment. He considered women as Shakti. Netaji always followed his teachings, and later in life, he emphasized an important role for women for India's fight for freedom. Swami Vivekananda inspired Netaji since his childhood. Netaji's desire to serve his country, to stand with truth and mankind were all Swamiji's teachings. Netaji was a leader who was never afraid to walk alone in the path of truth. He never failed to strive for freedom because his inspiration, Swami Vivekananda taught, arise, awake, and not stop till the goal is reached. We will forever be indebted to both of them. Their sacrifices, their fights, their teachings will always guide us. They both will remain in our hearts forever. Thank you.
Thank you, Sujata. Ahona will now present a paper in Bengali. সে বলবে স্বাধীনতার কথা, সে বলবে মুক্তির কথা। ভক্তি, যোগ এবং কর্ম, মুক্তির এই তিনটি পথ, প্রত্যেকের কর্তব্য তার উপযুক্ত পথটি অনুসরণ করে চলা। তবে এই যুগে কর্মযোগের গুরুত্বপূর্ণ একদমই উপরে, একদমই আলাদা। স্বামীজির এই বাণী আমাদের অনুপ্রেরণা যোগায়। অহনা, মঞ্চটি এখন তোমার অপেক্ষা।
ভগবান শ্রী রামকৃষ্ণদেব, জগৎজননী সারদা দেবী, যুগাচার্য স্বামী বিবেকানন্দ, জগদ্ধাত্রী মাতা এবং বীরেশ্বর শিবের চরণে আমি সাষ্টাঙ্গ প্রণাম জানাই। আমার বক্তব্যের বিষয় স্বামী বিবেকানন্দ এবং ভারতের স্বাধীনতা সংগ্রাম। স্বামী বিবেকানন্দ বাস্তবিক এক যুগন্ধর ব্যক্তিত্ব। আধুনিক ভারতের উন্মেষ, গঠন এবং রূপায়ণে তার অবদান এবং প্রভাব অনেকে সর্বাধিক বলে মনে করেন। 1893 খ্রিস্টাব্দে আমেরিকায় স্বামী বিবেকানন্দের এক অভাবনীয় আবির্ভাব ঘটেছিল। ভারতবর্ষ থেকে দূরে, বহু দূরে আমেরিকার শিকাগো শহরে ভারতের এই অমিতবীর্য সন্তান তুলেছিলেন বজ্র নির্ঘোষী রণহুঙ্কার। বহির্বিশ্বে নবজাগ্রত ভারতবর্ষের সেই বলিষ্ঠ কণ্ঠস্বর, সেই বিজয় শঙ্খনাদ রবীন্দ্রনাথ শুনেছিলেন ভারতবর্ষে বসে। স্বদেশে এসে ভারতের যুবশক্তিকে আহ্বান করলেন স্বামীজি। স্বামীজির সেই আহ্বান পরাক্রান্ত ব্রিটিশ সরকারকে শঙ্কিত করে তুলেছিল। স্বামীজি কি বললেন? তিনি বললেন, তোমরা কি দেশকে ভালোবাসো? তাহলে এসো, পিছনে চেও না। অতি প্রিয় আত্মীয় স্বজন কাঁদুক, পিছনে চেও না, সামনে এগিয়ে যাও। ভারত মাতা অন্তত সহস্র যুবক বলি চান। মনে রেখো, মানুষ চাই, পশু নয়। ব্রিটিশ সরকারের গোপন নথিপত্র, মুক্তি সংগ্রামীদের আত্মকাহিনী, জবানবন্দি সর্বত্রই যে তথ্যটি অনিবার্যভাবে উন্মোচিত হয়েছে তা হলো মৃত্যু ভয়হীন এই দেশপ্রেমিকদের পশ্চাতে প্রেরণা পুরুষ হয়ে দাঁড়িয়েছিলেন যে মানুষটি, তিনি হলেন স্বামী বিবেকানন্দ। স্বামীজির রচনা ছিল মুক্তি সংগ্রামীদের নিত্য সঙ্গী। দুর্ধর্ষ বিপ্লবী কানাইলাল দত্ত বন্দী ছিলেন আলিপুর সেন্ট্রাল জেলের কন্ডেমড সেলে। একদিন তিনি তার পক্ষে উচ্চকণ্ঠে আবৃত্তি করছেন স্বামীজির জ্ঞানযোগ থেকে। সেই সময় সাহেব সুপার তার পক্ষে আসলে তিনি সাহেবকে বললেন, শোনো শোনো, এই আমাদের মন্ত্র, আমাদের বাইবেল আর তোমাদের মৃত্যুর পরোয়ানা। মরতে আমরা ভয় পাই না সাহেব, মৃত্যুকে আমরা ভালোবাসি, আর ভালোবাসি আমাদের দেশকে, আমাদের মাতৃভূমিকে। যার লেখা থেকে আমি পড়ছি সেই স্বামী বিবেকানন্দ আমাদের তা শিখিয়েছেন। আমরা সবাই তার সন্তান। বেদনায় রক্তাক্ত হয়েছিল স্বামীজির হৃদয় যখন শুনেছিলেন বিপ্লবীদের ওপর ব্রিটিশের অকথ্য অত্যাচারের কথা। তার সেই অগ্নিময় অন্তর্দাহের একটি চিত্র আমরা পাচ্ছি ট্রিবিউন পত্রিকার সম্পাদকের স্মৃতিকথায়। এক অপরাহ্নে তিনি আমার কাছে এলেন। ভাবনায় অঙ্কিত তার মুখ। আমাকে বললেন, আমি জেলে গেলে যদি দেশের কোনো উপকার হয় তাহলে আমি জেলে যেতে প্রস্তুত। তার দিকে তাকিয়ে সব বিষয়ে ভাবতে লাগলাম। তার ললাটের জয়মাল্য এখনো শুকোয়নি। সেই বিষয়ে সামান্যতম উল্লেখ পর্যন্ত না করে তিনি স্বেচ্ছায় কারা জীবনের আকাঙ্ক্ষা করছেন। তাই বলে শহীদের মুকুট লাভের মনোভাব তার ছিল না, কারণ তা ছিল তার স্বভাব বিরুদ্ধ। কানাইলাল দত্ত, অরবিন্দ, এমনকি সুভাষচন্দ্র বোস, যিনি স্বামীজির মানসপুত্র বলে পরিচিত, এরা কেউই চোখে দেখেননি মুক্তি সংগ্রামের এই অগ্নিহোত্রীকে, কিন্তু শুনতে পেয়েছিলেন তার আহ্বান। আবার বাঘাযতীন, হেমচন্দ্র ঘোষ, লোকমান্য তিলক প্রত্যক্ষভাবে স্পর্শ করেছিলেন সেই আগ্নেয়গিরিকে, উত্তাপ নিয়েছিলেন নিজেদের জীবনে। হেমচন্দ্র ঘোষ একটি সাক্ষাৎকারে স্বামী পূর্ণাত্মানন্দজিকে বলেছিলেন, ভারতের জন্য স্বামীজির ছিল অপরিসীম উদ্বেগ এবং দেশের যুবকদের প্রতি ছিল তার বিরাট আশা। এটা তো ঘটনা যে বিবেকানন্দ নামক সেই আগ্নেয়গিরি থেকে কয়েকটি ক্ষুদ্রতম স্ফুলিঙ্গ ছিটকে এসে আমাদের সত্তায় প্রবেশ করেছিল। সেই বিরাট আগুনের অনুমাত্রও যদি কারোর মধ্যে প্রবেশ করে তাহলে তা কখনোই নিষ্ক্রিয় থাকতে পারে না। ব্রিটিশকে ভারত থেকে বিতাড়িত করার ব্যাপারে বেঙ্গল ভলেন্টিয়ার্স যদি সামান্যতম ভূমিকা গ্রহণ করে থাকে, তবে তার মূলে ছিল সেই আগ্নেয়গিরি থেকে ছিটকে আসা কয়েকটি অগ্নিস্ফুলিঙ্গ, যা মুক্তি সংঘের তরুণদের হৃদয়ে প্রবেশ করেছিল। হেমচন্দ্র ঘোষ স্বামী পূর্ণাত্মানন্দজিকে আরো বলেছিলেন, বিবেকানন্দের এক নাম ভারতবর্ষ, ভারতবর্ষের আরেক নাম বিবেকানন্দ। স্বামী বিবেকানন্দ প্রসঙ্গে রবীন্দ্রনাথের সেই অত্যন্ত পরিচিত কথাটি দিয়ে আমি শেষ করব। বিখ্যাত নোবেলজয়ী সাহিত্যিক রোমারোলাকে রবীন্দ্রনাথ বলেছিলেন, আপনি যদি ভারতবর্ষকে জানতে চান বিবেকানন্দের গ্রন্থাবলী পড়ুন, তার মধ্যে সবটাই ইতিবাচক, নেতিবাচক কিছুই নেই। নমস্কার।
তোমারও বক্তব্য বেশ আগ্নেয়গিরির মতোই ছিল, অহনা। Netaji and Swamiji, both men of eloquent words as well as practical actions. One saffron-clad and the other resplendent in military fatigues. Payal and Shaktaparna Shaptaparna's presentation will be exploring their partnership.
Good afternoon, everyone. Ma'am has already introduced our topic. So without wasting your time, let us start. Netaji and Swamiji need no introduction. Swamiji has been guiding our lives ever since we were very young, and Netaji is a figure known to every citizen of India as the fiery freedom fighter. He formed the RNA whose motto was, "Give me blood, I will give you freedom." So, the thought and action of Netaji were formed by Swamiji's ideals. It is an interesting fact that Netaji and Swamiji never met each other in their real life. Netaji described Vivekananda as the maker of modern India. Swamiji had a most practical approach in showing the path towards solving the problems, humanitarian crisis in modern society. Netaji was influenced by Swamiji's philosophical ideas about reconstructing the nation. He was overwhelmed by the success of socialism in Soviet Russia in solving the problems of poverty, illiteracy, and backwardness. But he didn't like the dogmatic approach of the Soviet system, which treated man as a machine. But both, like Vivekananda, believed that every human being is a manifestation of Brahman, the Supreme Soul. Next slide tells us about Swami Vivekananda. Indian independence activist Netaji Subhash Chandra Bose considered Vivekananda as his spiritual guru. He called Vivekananda a full-blooded masculine personality and a fighter to the core of being. Bose told, under the sacred influence of Ramakrishna and Vivekananda, his own life got miraculously transformed. Shaptaparnadi, please you continue.
Thank you, Pal. Now, how Vivekananda saved Subhash Chandra Bose. In the childhood of Subhash Chandra Bose, he believed his headmaster Beni Madhav Das and followed him blindly. But as time went by, he could not find the solution of some problem. One day, he went to his neighbor house and there found a library full of books. Here, he discovered Vivekananda, his life changer. Now, he studied about Vivekananda's work for many days, months, and years. When Subhash Chandra was only 15 years old, then Vivekananda entered his life, and then he started following him blindly. Now, 9 letters written by Subhash Chandra Bose to his mother Prabhavati Devi in the year 1912 to 1913. In this letter, he wrote about his feeling towards this country, his duty towards his country, etc. He was looking for a lot of answers for the problem troubling his 15 years old curious mind. All these letters were written in Bengali, his mother tongue. প্রথমবার সুভাষচন্দ্র বসু যখন বাংলা ক্লাসে আসেন তখন শিক্ষক মশাই তাকে বাংলাতে কিছু লিখতে বলেন। লেখাটি ছিল অত্যন্ত নিম্ন স্তরের এবং তাতে ছিল অনেক বানান ভুল। এই নিয়ে ক্লাসে শিক্ষক মশাই এবং বাকি ছাত্ররা খুব হাসাহাসি করে। এতে তিনি খুব অপমানিত বোধ করেন এবং মনে মনে প্রতিজ্ঞা করেন
যে বাংলাটা তাকে শিখতে হবে। এরপর বছরের শেষে যখন ফাইনাল পরীক্ষা হয় তখন দেখা যায় বাংলা এবং সংস্কৃত দুটোতেই তিনি সর্বোচ্চ নম্বর পেয়েছেন। That was Bengal Subhash Chandra Bose, our freedom fighter, with the same zeal pursue Swamiji. Here are some books written by Vivekananda which inspired Subhash Chandra Bose. These are the some quotes which motivates us, the young generation. While you are reading these quotes, we would like to share few significant anecdotes with you in Bengali. Payal, would you like to do this honor?
ধন্যবাদ। নেতাজি ছোটবেলা থেকেই ধ্যান করতে খুব ভালোবাসতেন। তার এই ধ্যান করা নিয়ে তার বন্ধু বান্ধবরা তাকে নিয়ে খুব ঠাট্টা উপহাস করত, কিন্তু তার সামনে করার কারো সাহস ছিল না। তার প্রধান কারণ হলো তার রাশভারী স্বভাব এবং এক বিশিষ্ট ব্যক্তিত্বের কারণে। আমরা তার একটা ছোট্ট প্রমাণও পাই একটা ছোট্ট ঘটনার মধ্য দিয়ে। তিনি গভীর ধ্যানে মগ্ন আছেন, এমন সময় তার বাড়ির কাজের লোক তার ঘরে প্রবেশ করেন এবং তিনি মনে করেন যে তিনি কোনো একটা পাথরের মূর্তির সাথে ধাক্কা খেয়েছেন। পরক্ষণেই তার এই ভ্রান্ত ধারণা ভেঙে যায়। তিনি বুঝতে পারেন, না, এটা তো কোনো পাথরের মূর্তি না, ইনি হলেন তো স্বয়ং আমাদের নেতাজি সুভাষচন্দ্র বসু, যিনি গভীর ধ্যানে মগ্ন আছেন।
নেতাজি ছোটবেলা থেকেই খুব সেবা পরায়ণ ছিলেন। তিনি ছোটবেলায় একবার 20 টাকার একটা বৃত্তি পান এবং সেই সময় তিনি তার মাকে জানান যে এই টাকা দিয়ে তিনি গরিব মানুষের জন্য কিছু করতে চান। তিনি অনেক গ্রামে গ্রামে গিয়ে মানুষের পাশে দাঁড়িয়েছেন, মানুষের জন্য কাজ করেছেন এবং পরবর্তীকালে তিনি একটি সেবাশ্রম তৈরি করেছিলেন। তিনি একসময় বলেছিলেন যে স্বামীজি যদি আজকে আমাদের মধ্যে বেঁচে থাকতেন তাহলে তিনিই হতেন তার গুরু এবং তিনি তার পায়ের কাছে পড়ে থাকতেন। এইভাবে আমরা আজকে আমাদের উপস্থাপনাটি শেষ করছি। ধন্যবাদ।
Now we move on to presentation number 17 of the day. Shobana Ganguly will tell us what the other towering personalities have to say about Swamiji, and in the process ignite this hall named after Vivekananda.
Thank you, ma'am. My pranam to Thakur Ma Swamiji. Good afternoon to respected Maharaj, teachers, and my friends. Today I am going to speak on the topic Great National Personalities on Swami Vivekananda. Swami Vivekananda, the Hindu monk and great philosopher, was a chief disciple of the 19th century Indian mystic Ramakrishna Paramahamsa. Swamiji was a key figure in the introduction of the Indian darshanas of Vedanta and yoga to the Western world and is credited with raising interfaith awareness, bringing Hinduism to the status of a major world religion during the late 19th century. Swami Vivekananda adopted traditional Hindu ideas and religiosity to suit the needs and understanding of his Western audiences who were specially attracted by movements like Transcendentalism and New Thought. He popularized the notion of involution. He linked morality with control of the mind, and seeing truth, purity, and unselfishness were traits which strengthened it. Swamiji is the greatest source of achievement, pride, and inspiration. He always encouraged youth to work for the betterment of our country. Many great personalities were inspired by him. His thought process helped Indians to stand up against the British colonial regime. Swamiji believed that a country's future depends on its people, and his teaching focused on human development. Once, the great personality Rabindranath Tagore said, "If you want to know India, study Vivekananda." Many freedom fighters were inspired by Swami Vivekananda. They discovered India's strong and weak points through Swamiji's notion. Swamiji taught Indians how to love and respect their country. Sri Aurobindo has said, "It was the spirit of Vivekananda who first gave me a clue in the direction of the supermind. This clue led me to see how the truth consciousness works in everything." Bipin Chandra Pal felt Swami Vivekananda's message was the message of modern humanity. Mahatma Gandhi has great respect for Swami Vivekananda. In 1921, on a visit to the Belur Math on the occasion of Swami Vivekananda's birthday celebrations, he spoke of Swamiji's deep impact on his understanding of India. Jawaharlal Nehru had said it was no empty talk he was indulging in. Sister Nivedita was disciple of Swami Vivekananda. His principles and teachings influenced her, and she dedicated her life to God and to the service of India. Our great national leader, Netaji Subhash Chandra Bose, considered Vivekananda as his spiritual teacher. He said, "If Swamiji had been alive today, he would have been my guru. That is to say, I would have accepted him as my master. Needless to say, as long as I live, I shall be absolutely loyal and devoted to Ramakrishna Vivekananda." Some of our presidents of India were highly inspired by Swami Vivekananda. Dr. APJ Abdul Kalam, the 11th President of India, has great respect for Swami Vivekananda. Pranab Mukherjee, the 13th President of India, spoke on Swamiji's 150th birth anniversary. He transformed a society which had lost self-confidence. Other famous personalities were also inspired by Swami Vivekananda. In 1893, Vivekananda accidentally met Jamsetji Tata. They both were going to Chicago. During the conversation, Vivekananda told Tata about the necessity of establishing a world-class scientific institution in India, and this encouraged Tata to establish the Indian Institute of Science, which gradually became one of the India's best-known research university of India. Lata Mangeshkar was a devotee of Ramakrishna mission and considered Swamiji her idol. Once she wrote on social media, "Whom I obeyed as my guru since my childhood, he is Swami Vivekananda ji." Swami Vivekananda wanted Indians to rise above their present state of depravity and self-established cocoon of ignorance. Swamiji reminded India of its strength, made it realize, revived its mind, and awakened the national consciousness. His thoughts inspire liberation from inertia. His emphasis on strength and service of humanity resonates with the youth of every age, every era. That is why his birth anniversary is celebrated every year as National Youth Day in India. Thank you.
Thank you, Shramona. It was as if all the stalwarts came alive in this hall for a few moments. While researching on the next topic, I came across a famous poem by Sarojini Naidu named Gift of India, where the poet speaks on behalf of the Indian mother, recalling the sacrifices of her brave sons snatched away by British masters. The gifts which India gave were raiment, grain and gold. Swamiji too, decades before, had spoken about India's unending generosity to bestow show many gifts and in return be treated with curse and contempt. Ashmita Dotto, go ahead.
Thank you, ma'am. Pranam to Sri Ramakrishna, Sri Sharadama, and Swami Vivekananda. Namaste to all reverend sannyasi, my teachers, and everyone present here. My topic today is India's gift to the world. Swami Vivekananda delivered his lecture on India's gift to the world on February 25th, 1895, at the hall of the Long Island Historical Society. He spoke of the innumerable gifts that India, our native land, and I quote, withstood the earliest cradle of ethics, arts, sciences, and literature, and the integrity of whose sons, and the virtue of whose daughters have been sung by all travelers, has given to the world. Illustrated by quotations from the works of scientists, Swamiji pointed out similarities between Buddhism and Christianity, and the influence that the former has had on the latter. The doctrine of Trinity, of incarnation of God and of our ethics, and the service in temples and Catholic churches are similar in the two religions because Buddhism had them all before Christianity. India has contributed greatly to medical science by introducing Ayurveda, which is a traditional form of medicine and healing, the art of yoga, and numerous surgical procedures. She has enriched the field of mathematics by introducing algebra, geometry, astronomy, and mixed mathematics. In philosophy, we were, and still are, head and shoulders above any other nation. From the philosophy of the Vedas to the orthodox and heterodox schools of thought, Indian philosophy includes extensive discussions on ontology, reliable means of knowledge, value system, and many other topics. In music, India gave a system of notation and diatonic scale to the world. In philology, Swamiji says that Sanskrit is universally acknowledged to be the foundation of all European languages. In literature, India has given to the world the Sanskrit epic poems, the Mahabharata and Ramayana, the fables of Aesop, the Arabian Nights, even the stories of Cinderella and Jack and the Beanstalk. India was the first to create cotton and purple dye. It was proficient in the manufacture of all kinds of jewelry, and the word sugar, as well as the product, found their origin in India. The games of chess and dice also originate from India. But the greatest of India's gifts to the world is Swami Vivekananda himself. Alongside eminent personalities like Rabindranath Tagore, Mother Teresa, and Swamiji's mentor, Sri Ramakrishna Paramhamsa, Swamiji is a boon to the world and all the people living in it. In return for all these gifts, instead of gratitude and reverence, the world only has curses and contempt for our beloved nation. The world reduced India to poverty and its children to slavery, but India does not beg for mercy. India's first message to the world is her blessing. She returns good for the evil that is done to her. Her second message is that calm goodness, patience, and gentleness will ultimately triumph. The brutal, violent races of the Greeks, Romans, Arabs, and the Spaniards have faded out, nearly disappeared, but the kinder race of the Indians is yet to perish and will yet triumph. I end my speech with a quote by Swamiji. The gift of India is the gift of religion and philosophy, and wisdom and spirituality. Namaste. Thank you.
Thank you, Ashmita. In his letters from Colombo to Almora, Swamiji had maintained that the highest form of worship is the worship of man. Get a poor man, perhaps 12 of them. Every day invite them to your house and feed them and serve them as if they were Narayan. The Bhakt should be ready to stand and say, I do not want anything from you, Lord, but if you need anything, I am ready to give. Love in return of some service or reward is called beggar's religion. It is called the shopkeeper's religion. It has very little religion in it. Erica will speak further on this in her paper on Up India.
you, ma'am. I offer my sincere pranam to Thakur, Ma, Swamiji, and to all the revered Maharaj present here, and my respect to all the teachers and the students. Up, India, and conquer the world with your spirituality. I, as is being declared, on this soil first, love must conquer hatred. Hatred cannot conquer itself. Materialism and all its miseries can never be conquered by materialism. Armies, when they attempt to conquer armies, only multiply and make brutes of humanity. Spirituality must conquer the West. Swami Vivekananda wanted us Indians to be proactive, aggressively proactive in taking the message of spirituality to the world. Here, aggression, however, does not mean attack, but sustained, sincere, and proactive work. Conquest does not mean defeating or destroying others, but helping all in their inner growth, saving them from destruction. Swami Vivekananda addresses the problem of evils like orthodoxy, the caste distinction, and illiteracy, and offers the reforms to do away with these evils. He says that there are two types of reforms: that which comes out of retaliation or reaction, and the other which is more like a natural growth. Many Indian as well as foreign reformists spend much of their energy criticizing societal evils without even possessing a deeper knowledge of the Indian psyche. Only criticizing, however, cannot be the remedy. Swamiji regarded this approach as a chronic rheumatism that keeps going from one part of the body to another. Even practically, reactionary reform is quite narrow in its approach. Swamiji recognizes that good and evil are part of the same coin, and therefore the way to reform should follow the path of natural growth. It works by setting good examples and not by condemning or criticizing the evils in the society. It is a root and branch reform, a constructive and holistic approach. Hence, there need not be any condemnation involved in ameliorating the society. The problem of caste discrimination in India can also be deemed in a similar fashion. Though certain laws have definitely helped the cause, it has only scratched the surface of the problem. The real problem of caste discrimination, however, has not been eradicated from the heart of Indians. To solve this, Swamiji says that we must go to the very root of the matter and do the mending there. Swami Vivekananda staunchly reprimanded the then reformers of India who used to declare that Christianity and Christian power are going to uplift India, and the so-called erudite population who can scroll a few lines on the paper and get some fool to publish them and think they are the public opinion of India and educators of the world. Each nation has a main current in life. In India, it is religion, said Swami Vivekananda. According to him, spiritualism through religion and spirituality is the harbinger of amendments in India. He had expounded that our spiritual knowledge should be based on the Vedas and the Puranas and should be disseminated among the mass. Swamiji believed that the gentle breeze of India's spiritual knowledge had blown over the globe twice. Once when the Greeks conquered almost the entire world, and the second time when the Britons introduced the world with the means of communication. In today's world, to accomplish the task of propagating India's spiritual knowledge to the world, people with a pure and omnipotent need to refurbish the society are required. Therefore, to ensure a greater future for India, the whole secret lies in organization, accumulation of power, coordination of wills, or, as Swamiji had stated, national union in India has to be a gathering up of its scattered spiritual forces. Thank you.
I completely agree with you, Erika. We require aggressively proactive leaders, however, leading us in the right direction. Our second last presenter, Momita Shanyal, will today speak on Netaji and Swamiji, our most popular and well-liked and trendy duo, heroes of the day. We assure audience they will light up your dreams tonight. My pranams to Thakur, Ma and Shamiji. Good afternoon to all my respected teachers, Maharajis and my dear friends. Today I am going to speak on the topic Netaji and Swami Vivekananda. After delivering his epoch-making address at the Chicago World Parliament of Religion, Swami Vivekananda landed back in India on 15 January 1897. Then he traveled the length and breadth of the country, and an acceleration call was sent to the youth that they should sacrifice their heart, soul and all to the altar of Mother India, and serve her fellow countrymen as the embodiments of God. It was a matter of great wonder that in days when such thoughts tired the mind of Swamiji, on 23rd January 1897 was born a child who imbibed in his little life every words of those utterances. He was none other than Netaji Subhash Chandra Bose. This exhortation of Swamiji became the guiding motto of Netaji, and he dedicated his life and soul to the struggle for independence. Influence of Swamiji in Netaji's childhood and student's life. From the very beginning of his life, Netaji was tremendously influenced by Swamiji. He said, I was barely 15 when Vivekananda entered into my life. He read in depth some literary works of Swami Vivekananda and his guru, Sri Ramakrishna, and realized those were the books and teachings he had been looking for. After that, Netaji acquired an immense thrust of nationalism that during his college life he toured the entire North India like Swamiji to find out the problems, needs of his countrymen. His thirst for spiritual life was indomitable. While he was a student of Presidency College in 1913, he even left his home in order to join Ramakrishna mission and to become a sannyasi. But Swami Brahmananda, the then president of Belur Math, could envision his future and advised him sannyasi was not his cup of tea at all. Rather, his love for his country might play a major role in the field of politics for country's emancipation. Swami Brahmananda's vision proved true after some times. Influence of Swamiji in Netaji's working life and freedom movement. Netaji felt Swamiji was a full-blood masculine personality. His personality was
rich, profound, and complex. He tried to infuse into new generation a sense of pride in India's past, of faith with India's future, and a spirit of self-confidence and self-respect. Moreover, Swamiji harmonized East and West, religion and science, and past and the present. That's why he was great. Netaji believed Swami Vivekananda preached the Hindu religion into its purest form, in which caste and creed had no being whatsoever. Swamiji believed that harnessing youth power is the game changer of society, and they had the vast potential in nation building. Netaji took up the idea and kept the youth in the vanguard of his struggle for freedom. In his address at third session of All India Youth Congress in 1928, he told, "Youth movement is not reformist in outlook but revolutionary." He wanted their lead in national awakening, women upliftment, and all-round socio-economic development. Influence of Swamiji in Netaji's later life. In later part of his life, Netaji followed all of Swamiji's policy very precisely. Swamiji said, "What on today? I am with you. When I am gone, my spirit will work with you." Netaji showed Swamiji was correct. The way he escaped from his house arrest and went abroad was most daring and just unimaginable. He repeated the strategy that Swamiji did in the domain of religion, going abroad to uphold the banner of India alone. Here, I conclude that Swamiji's greatness and qualities were fully reflected in Netaji, and he saw in Swami Vivekananda a pathfinder as the spiritual father of modern national movement, and followed him to become a spiritual patriot. Thank you.
Thank you, Momita. Our last participant of the day, judges, and our sweet patient audience will speak on Hinduism. Hinduism that can be scientifically tested, verified, and questioned. No matter which race or community you belong to, each one of you is divine. There may be n number of ways to reach this divinity. Joto mot, toto pot. Abhinav will reach out to the greatest spiritual scientist ever and perhaps take all of us an inch closer to divinity.
Thank you, ma'am. My pranam to Thakur, Ma, and Swamiji. A very good afternoon to everyone present here. I present before you all a summary of Swamiji's paper on Hinduism, read at the Parliament of Religion on 19 September 1893. Swami Vivekananda gave a short introduction of Hinduism and spoke on the meaning of Hindu religion. He also talked about the three oldest religions of the world, namely Hinduism, Zoroastrianism, and Judaism, their survival and emergence of Christianity. He went ahead to share of his knowledge of the Vedanta philosophy, the concept of God, soul, and body in Hinduism. In this brief address, Swamiji told that the religion was not the most important need of Indians at that moment. Poverty was a more important issue. He said his aim was to join the parliament of religions and seek help for his impoverished people. Some religions tried to set the foundation of Vedas, but in Swamiji's own words, like the water of the seashore, in a tremendous earthquake, it receded only for a while, to return in an all-absorbing flood. Swamiji said that the Hindu had received their religion through revelation, the Vedas. They believe that the Vedas are without beginning or end. The Vedas contain the knowledge of spiritual laws discovered by different persons in different times. He said that the discoverers of these laws are called rishis in our country, where we honor them as perfect beings. He was proud to announce that some of the very greatest of them were women. The Vedas teach us that creation is without beginning or end. Swamiji explained beautifully the concept of body and soul. In his brief address, in his words, here I stand, and if I shut my eyes and try to conceive my existence, I. What is the idea before me? The idea of a body. Am I then nothing but a combination of material substances? The Vedas declare, no, I am a spirit living in a body. I am not the body. The body will die, but I shall not die. The soul was not created. The creation means a combination, which means certain future dissolution. If the soul was created, it must die. According to Swamiji, the Hindu believes that he is a spirit. The sword cannot pierce him, the fire cannot burn him, the water cannot melt him, not the air can dry him. The soul is free, unbounded, holy, pure and perfect. Swamiji addressed everyone as children of immortal bliss. These Vedas proclaim that the God is the supreme force by whose command the wind blows, the fire burns, the cloud rain and death stalks upon the earth. He is everywhere, the pure and formless one, the almighty and all merciful. He is to be worshipped through love. The Vedas teach that the soul is divine. We need mukti, that is freedom from the bonds of imperfection, freedom from death and misery. Swamiji explained idol worship. We cannot think about anything without a mental image. That is why the Hindu uses an external symbol when he worships. It helps to keep his mind fixed on the being of to whom he prays. Swamiji addressed everyone saying, may he, who is the Brahmin of the Hindus, the Ahura Mazda of the Zoroastrians, Buddha of the Buddhists, the Jehovah of the Jews, Father in heaven of the Christians, give strength to you to carry out your noble idea. Thank you.
We will start with the poster presentations. The first one is to be presented by our faculty members from the French department, Priyanka Shingo and Shreya Ghosh.
Om Namo Bhagavate Ramakrishna. I offer my pranam to Thakur Ma and Swamiji, Revered Maharaj, Mukta Sangananda Ji Maharaj, and Principal Maharaj, Divya Pragananda Ji, and greetings to our faculty member and staff members. Respect and namaste to all present here. Swamiji said, Sanskrit is the language of God. The very sound of Sanskrit is musical. Sanskrit and prestige go together in India. Kaviguru Rabindranath Tagore said, if you want to know India, study Vivekananda. In him, everything is positive, nothing negative. Netaji Subhash Chandra Bose had called Vivekananda the maker of modern India.
आधुनिक भारतस्य निर्माणकर्तृषु युगपुरुषस्य विवेकानन्दस्य नाम सर्वोपरि अस्ति.
Sanskrit is the ancient language of the world.
संस्कृत भाषा विश्वस्य सर्वासु भाषासु प्राचीनतम भाषा अस्ति.
Sanskrit is the life of India. It brings unity.
संस्कृत भाषा एव भारतस्य प्राणभूता भाषा अस्ति. राष्ट्रस्य ऐक्यं च साधयति.
The influence of Sanskrit in Indo-European languages.
भारतीय भाषासु बाहुल्येन संस्कृत शब्दाः उपयुक्ताः. संस्कृतात् एव अधिका भारतीय भाषा उद्भूताः. भारतीय यूरोपीय भाषावर्गीय अनेकाः भाषाः संस्कृत प्रभावं संस्कृत शब्द प्राचुर्यं च प्रदर्शयन्ति.
Veda, Ramayana, Bhagavad Gita, Mahabharata are composed in Sanskrit.
वेदाः रामायणं महाभारतं भगवद्गीता इत्यादयः ग्रन्थाः संस्कृतभाषायाम् एव विरचिताः.
Jayatu Vivekananda, Jayatu Sanskritam, Jayatu Bharatam.
Edwina Das on Indian national ideals, poster presentation. And I would also call upon the next person, Shoptok Roy. Will you please be ready after Devina?
Hello everyone, I am Devlina Dash from French department. I have done a poster. I would like to share my small try to describe Vivekananda ji on this auspicious occasion. I have the topic of Indian national ideas, where I want to depict all the current situation of India, which Swami Vivekananda ji showed us, the education system and the diversity, equality, rights and justice. And as Swami Vivekananda ji said, the Indian nation cannot be killed. Deathless it stands, it will stand so long as the spirit shall remain as the background. So long our people do not give up their spirituality. And I am not so, I cannot speak in front of audience. So that's it. Thank you so much.
pranam to Thakur, Ma Swamiji. Namaste to all respected rewarded teachers and Swamiji present out of here. Today I am here to present actually Swamiji and his role on India's freedom movement. But everyone told many lot of things about Swamiji. So I just want to tell some before going into the topic. I just want to tell something about Swamiji. How was his childhood and all. I will like to tell a small story. Maybe it was like that. So as you all know, Swamiji born on in 12th of January 1863, and he was the son of Narendra Bhuvaneshwari Devi and Ramakrishna. So, but I don't know whether you all know this incident or not. Actually, Swamiji from his very childhood, he was very brave. He was fond of playing cricket, footballs and all. But I would like to mention a small story. Actually, in childhood, he once upon a time in his childhood he used to get bullied up by his friends. That saying that there are some ghosts staying in the trees and all. So, but he challenged his friends. He told that I would like to spend the whole night on the tree, and I would like to prove that nothing is ghost or nothing is there at all. So he took up the challenge and he went up into the tree and he stayed whole night over there, and he proved that nothing is there like ghost and all. So that from this incident it is evident that we need to eradicate, we need to remove the cowardness from our life very from the beginning. Otherwise, freedom is not possible. So at that time, he leaded India. He leaded the youth from the very beginning, so that India got freedom. Many of the freedom fighters got inspired by his life and all. But nowadays, I would say that in current scenario, India is lacking such a leader like him. So if at least we can take a 10%, we can inspire by 10,000 ideas or whatever I believe Swamiji has told us. So we can. I think India is politically independent, but I don't think so that India is socially independent or maybe economically independent. So there is a lot of things needs to be improved. But I would pray that maybe we can have some things. Still now we can inspired by his thoughts and ideas what he have given. So this is what I can tell. So and here now I'm coming to the topic. So already this is my first slide. So what I have given here. So as we all know that he always played a very important part in India's freedom. So he, starting from Netaji Subhash Chandra Bose, everyone whatever I have told right now from the beginning, Subhash Chandra, Netaji, Hemchandra Ghosh, and also he inspired Aurobindo Ghosh by his spirituality, by his thoughts and ideas. So everyone got inspired by his ideas from the very beginning. So this is all. And coming to next. So here I have tried to present what Swamiji thought of on freedom. So already I have mentioned that it is we need to always strive hard. We need to always work hard. So for achieving anything, achieving anything in the life, if we cannot strive hard, we cannot work hard, nothing we can achieve. So always work, constant, worship, knowledge. By these three-fold method, we can achieve anything in our life. And I would like to read something from here. What Swamiji taught us, or Swamiji gave us some ideas on the society. So
All nature is crying through all atoms for one thing. It is perfect freedom. As soon as we react, we become slaves. A man blames me and I immediately react in anger. A little vibration which we created made me a slave. So we have to demonstrate our freedom. All our struggle is for freedom. We seek neither misery or happiness, but freedom alone. Freedom is to lose all illusions. Freedom means immortality. Freedom means independence of anything outside, and that means that nothing outside itself would work upon it as a cause. Freedom, oh freedom! Freedom is the soul of soul, song of soul. It is the taste of higher being. It is the goal of universe. It is the nature of soul. It is the birthright. Freedom is everything. Thank you.
Where is Amuna? Amuna, come please.
Archie, can use this mic.
Hello. Good afternoon. I offer my pranam to Thakur Mas Swamiji and all River Sannyasi Maharaj present here. Today, I am going to speak a few words about Netaji Subhash Chandra Bose and Swami Vivekananda. Swamiji was a true patriot, a great teacher, and a yogi. So one of his famous quotes is, "Arise, awake, and stop not till goal is reached." Netaji Subhash Chandra Bose was one of the best freedom fighters of India. He fought for India's independence against the British rulers. One of his famous quotes is, "Give me blood and I will give you freedom." Netaji considered Swami Vivekananda as a spiritual teacher. His own life was awakened under the sacred influence of Sri Ramakrishna and Swami Vivekananda. Thank you.
I think if I was the judge, I would have given you the first prize. Wonderful. Swami Vivekananda ji, will invoke a prayer asking for divine blessings.
After there is one RKM's presentation. After that. So now RKM's presentation.
Okay.
Then Maharaj.
So now we will have our games presentation. So sit back and is it here? of all our presentations. So I hope you have enjoyed listening to all the variety of topics as much as the students have enjoyed presenting them. Swami Vivekananda will invoke a prayer asking for divine blessings. So all of you sit straight in your chairs and get ready for his benediction.
हरि ओम तत्सत् नमः श्री यतिराजाय विवेकानंद सूरये सच्चित् सुख स्वरूपाय स्वामिने तापहारिणे। আমি এতক্ষণ শুনছিলাম, খুব ভালোই লেগেছে। সবাইকে আমার আন্তরিক অভিনন্দন জানাচ্ছি। অভিনন্দন জানাচ্ছি আমাদের এই প্রতিষ্ঠানের স্কুল অফ ল্যাঙ্গুয়েজের প্রিন্সিপাল স্বামী দিব্যপ্রজ্ঞানন্দকে। শুনছিলাম বিভিন্ন রকম, যদিও আমার অন্য ক্লাস ছিল বলে, বেদান্তের ক্লাস ছিল অনলাইনে, তাই সবটা অ্যাটেন্ড করতে পারিনি। আমার ইচ্ছা ছিল, তো যতটুকু শুনেছি খুবই ভালো হয়েছে। স্বামী বিবেকানন্দ and ন্যাশনাল ইন্ডিয়ান নেশন, এই ছিল মূল টপিক। বিভিন্ন দিক নিয়ে বিভিন্ন জন আলোচনা করেছে, খুবই ভালো হয়েছে। কিছু অল্প কয়েকটি শুনেছি আমি প্রথমে এবং শেষে। এইরকম মাঝে মাঝে যদি হয় তো খুবই ভালো হয়। সবাইকে অভিনন্দন জানাচ্ছি। তৎপূর্বে আমি কয়েকটি কথা বলতে চাই। এই যে আয়োজন করা হলো, কেন এখানে যারা এসেছেন পড়াশোনা করবার জন্যে, পড়াশোনা করতে, কিন্তু আমাদের যে ইনস্টিটিউশনটি রামকৃষ্ণ মিশন স্বামী বিবেকানন্দ Ancestral হাউস অ্যান্ড কালচারাল সেন্টার, তার মানে এই স্থানটি স্বামী বিবেকানন্দের বাড়ি, তার জন্মস্থান। স্বামী বিবেকানন্দের সঙ্গে স্থান ওতপ্রোতভাবে জড়িত। এবং শ্রীরামকৃষ্ণ বিবেকানন্দের থেকে আলাদা নন। বিবেকানন্দের কথা বলতে গেলেই শ্রীরামকৃষ্ণের কথা আসে, এবং শ্রীরামকৃষ্ণের কথা স্মরণ করতে গেলেই আমাদের বিবেকানন্দের কথা আসে। এই দুটি অভিন্ন সত্তা। আমরা এই ইনস্টিটিউশনে পড়াশোনা করার পর মানে যাই আমরা এখান থেকে শিখি, সেই শিক্ষার সঙ্গে সঙ্গে স্বামীজির উপর কিছু জানতে পারলে ভালো হয়। আমি যদি জিজ্ঞাসা করে কেউ কোথায় ইংরেজি শিখছিলেন বা কোথায় ফ্রেঞ্চ শিখছিলেন, তখন অনেকেই বলবে আমি বিবেকানন্দের বাড়ি থেকে, রামকৃষ্ণ মিশন থেকে শিখেছিলাম। এই কারণেই প্রত্যেকেই আশা করবে যারা ইনস্টিটিউশন থেকে কিছু শিখেছে তাদের কাছে স্বামীজি সম্পর্কে নিশ্চয়ই কিছু জানতে পারবে, বা তারা নিশ্চয়ই কিছু জানে। সেদিকে চিন্তা করেই এই সমস্ত আমাদের যে আয়োজন বিভিন্ন সময়, শুধু এখানে নয়, বিভিন্ন প্রতিষ্ঠানে যে হয়ে থাকে, তার একটি কারণ এই স্বামী বিবেকানন্দকে ছেলে মেয়েরা জানুক, একটি মূল কারণ। স্বামী বিবেকানন্দকে না জানলে ভারতবর্ষকে জানা হয় না। স্বামী বিবেকানন্দকে না জানলে ভারতীয় ধর্ম এবং দর্শন সম্বন্ধে ভালো জানা যায় না। উদাহরণ, শিকাগো ধর্ম মহাসভায় সবাই জানেন এই মহাসভা যখন হয়েছিল হিন্দু ধর্মের কোনো প্রতিনিধি ছিল না। কারণ কি? হিন্দু ধর্মটা যে কি মানুষ তা জানতই না। এ কালী পূজা করছে, তো কৃষ্ণের পূজা করছে, কেউ ব্রহ্ম, কেউ বিভিন্ন গণেশের পূজা করছে, এটাকেই সে ধর্ম মনে করছে। ধর্ম বলতে এখনো কারোর কাছে জিনিসটি খুব একটা স্পষ্ট নয়। ধর্ম ব্যাপারটি বহু মানুষের কাছে, এমনকি অনেক শিক্ষিত মানুষের কাছেও ওই ধর্ম বলতেই কিছু রিচুয়াল পালন করা, কিছু নিয়ম কানুন মানিয়ে চলা, তারপরে এই পূজা করা, অমুক পূজা করা, তমুক পূজা করা ধর্ম না। ওইগুলো ধর্ম নয়। স্বামীজির মতে ধর্ম কি, এটা আলোচনা হয়েছে যে আমাদের প্রত্যেকের মধ্যে যে ব্রহ্মের শক্তি আছে, যে ব্রহ্ম চৈতন্য আছে, তাকে জাগরণ করা বা তাকে জানা, তার সম্বন্ধে ওয়াকিবহাল হওয়াই ধর্ম। এটি করতে গিয়ে আমাদের বিভিন্ন রকম আচার আচরণ, অনুষ্ঠান, পূজা পার্বণ ইত্যাদি হতে পারে। এগুলো সেকেন্ডারি ডিটেলস। স্বামীজি বলছেন এগুলো বহিরঙ্গ। অন্তরঙ্গ হলো আমি কে, নিজকে জানো। উপনিষদের বাণী আত্মানমবিদ্ধি, নিজকে জানো, নিজকে জানো। তুমি কে? তুমি কি শুধু একটি মানুষ বা একটা জীব, একটা প্রাণী? হ্যাঁ, একটা জীব তো বটেই, প্রাণীও বটে, কিন্তু আসল সত্তা কি আমার? আমার মধ্যে যে জ্ঞানরূপী চৈতন্য আছে, চেতনা জ্ঞান একই কথা, সেই চৈতন্য সম্বন্ধে ওয়াকিবহাল হওয়া। এই আমরা শুনি, সবসময় শুনে আসছি, মানুষকে ভালোবাসো, মানুষকে ভালোবাসো। কেন ভালোবাসতে যাবো আমি? আমাকে তো অমুকের গাল দিচ্ছে, আমাকে তো মুখে দেখতে পারে না, আমাকে তো সে হিংসা করে, আমি কোন দৃষ্টিতে ভালোবাসবো? এখনই কি সবার সঙ্গে এখানে যারা আছে প্রত্যেকের সঙ্গে প্রত্যেকের খুব ভালো মিল আছে? আমার তো মনে হয় যে এখানে সবাই বসে ভালো ভালো কথা বলা হচ্ছে, ভালো ভালো কথা শোনা হচ্ছে, কিন্তু ভিতরে ভিতরে কে কার বন্ধু কতটা সেটা কে জানে? তাহলে শুধু স্প্লিট 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 এন্ড স্প্লিট, এটাই হচ্ছে যেন আমাদের স্বাভাবিক নিয়ম। কিন্তু আমরা সবসময় বলে যাই ভালোবাসতে হবে, ভালোবাসতে হবে, ভালোবাসতে হবে। কোন দৃষ্টি করলে আমি ভালোবাসবো এটা তো জানা দরকার। আমরা ভিন্নত্ব দেখি বলে আমরা ভালোবাসতে পারি না। আর ভিন্নত্ব তো দেখবই, সবার চেহারা তো একরকম নয়, সবার গায়ের বর্ণ একরকম নয়, কেউ ছেলে কেউ মেয়ে এরকম আমরা দেখি। আর কত রকম প্রাণী, সব তো ভিন্ন ভিন্ন ভিন্ন। ডাইভার্সিটি সবসময় আমরা দেখছি। ডাইভার্সিটি ইজ দি নেচার অফ ক্রিয়েশন। এই সৃষ্টির বৈশিষ্ট্যই হলো বিভিন্নতা, বিভিন্নতা। বিভিন্নতার মধ্যে যেটি আমাকে আমার মনে মতো হয় সেটাকে আমি ভালোবাসবো, আর যেটা আমার মনে মতো না হয় সেটাকে আমি ভালোবাসবো না। এটাই নিয়ম, স্বাভাবিক। তাহলে কিভাবে আমি ভালোবাসবো? ডাইভার্সিটির মধ্যে ইউনিটি ইন ডাইভার্সিটি ইজ দি মেইন বৈশিষ্ট্য, যেটাকে বলা হয় মেইন ফিচার অফ ইন্ডিয়া। ইউনিটিটা কিসের এই সম্বন্ধে আমাদের খুব ধারণা নেই। বলে আমরা সকলে মিলেমিশে একত্রে থাকবো। কেন থাকবো? আমি এমুক ধর্মের লোক, আমি আলাদা হব। আমি অমুক ধর্মের লোক, আমি আলাদা হব। আমি এমুক প্রভিন্সের লোক, আমি তার থেকে আলাদা হব। ওই রকম তো সব। তাহলে তাও যদি হয় তাহলে ইউনিটিটা আসবে কোথা থেকে? ইউনিটি আসার একটা কমন প্ল্যাটফর্ম চাই, একটা কমন বৈশিষ্ট্য চাই, সাধারণ বৈশিষ্ট্য। এই সাধারণ বৈশিষ্ট্য ধরতে হবে যে আমরা মানুষ একরকম, এরকম বলা চলে। আমরা সব যে জাতি হই, যে ভাষারই কথা বলি, আমরা মানুষ। এবং এই মানুষের মধ্যে আমরা যে ভূখণ্ডে থাকি সেই ভূখণ্ডটির নাম ভারত। আমরা ভারতীয়। এই ভারতীয় মুদ্রাটি আমাদের মধ্যে জেগেছে, জাগলে খুবই ভালো। ওই ভারতীয় মুদ্রা জাগাবার জন্যে স্বামীজিকে আমাদের লক্ষ্য করতে হবে। স্বামীজি বলেছিলেন, আই এম কনডেন্সড ইন্ডিয়া, আমি হলাম ভারতের ঘনীভূত রূপ। রবীন্দ্রনাথ বলেছেন, যদি বিবেকানন্দকে জানতে, ভারতবর্ষকে জানতে চাও তাহলে বিবেকানন্দকে পড়ো। If you know India, you study বিবেকানন্দ। বিবেকানন্দকে আমরা কিভাবে দেখবো? ভারতবর্ষের একটা ঘনীভূত রূপ। তিনি ভারতবর্ষের মানুষকে, সমস্ত জগতের মানুষকে তিনি ভালোবেসেছিলেন। তবু তার এই জন্মভূমি, পুণ্যভূমি এই ভারতবর্ষ, যেই ভারতবর্ষ বিশ্বের মধ্যে একত্বের জয়গান করে গেছে সব সময়। সেই আমাদের ধর্মের প্রথম যখন উদ্ভব হয় তখন থেকে এই ভারতবর্ষ একত্বের কথা বলে এসেছে। কেন মানুষ কেউ যে যেখানেই হোক, কেউ কারোর থেকে ভিন্ন নয়। সকলের মধ্যে এক সত্তা, এক ঈশ্বর বিরাজ করছেন। ঈশ্বর মানে কোনো একটা বিশেষ মূর্তি নয়। আমি দেখছিলাম যে এখানে একজন নারায়ণকে দাঁড় করিয়ে দিয়েছে। এটা আমাদের একটা প্রতীক মাত্র। শঙ্খ চক্র গদাধারী একটি বিশেষ মূর্তি, অথবা খাড়া হাতে জিহ্বা বার করে একটি প্রায় মৌঙ্গ মহিলা দাঁড়িয়ে আছে, তিনি আমাদের দেবী দেবতা, ওইরকম কিছু নয়। এটা আমরা বিভিন্ন প্রতীক হিসাবে ব্যবহার করি। অসীম যিনি, যিনি সকলের ভিতরে এক সত্তার রূপে বিরাজমান, তাকে আমরা চিন্তা করতে পারি না। তাই আমাদের মনের গঠন অনুযায়ী আমরা তাকে বিভিন্ন রকম মূর্তিতে বিভক্ত করে পূজা করি। স্বামী যে কথা বলেছেন, আমরা মানুষ, ঈশ্বরকেও আমাদের যেন একটা মনুষ্য মূর্তি ওই রকম ভাবেই ভাবতে হয়। অসীমের চিন্তা আমাদের ক্ষুদ্র মনে করতে পারে না। এখানেই ডাইভার্সিটির ব্যাপারটা এসছে। কিন্তু মূলত আমি যারই পূজা করি, সে কালী হোক, কৃষ্ণই হোক, বিষ্ণুই হোক, শিবই হোক, কিন্তু আমি একের পূজা করছি। একত্বের আরাধনাই ভারতবর্ষের আরাধনা। বারবার উপনিষদে কথা বলেছে। আমাদের পড়াশোনার মধ্যে সংস্কৃত উপেক্ষিত, এবং আমাদের ধর্ম বলতে আমরা বুঝি বিভিন্ন সম্প্রদায়ের যে বিভিন্ন রকম ভাব, এইগুলোকে। কিন্তু সমস্ত সম্প্রদায় যাকে কেন্দ্র করে উৎপন্ন হয়েছে, সমস্ত সম্প্রদায়ের যে বিভিন্ন রকম বৈশিষ্ট্য যাকে কেন্দ্র করে হয়েছে, উদ্ভব হয়েছে, তাকেই আমরা বাদ দিয়ে রাখি। কারণ আমাদের উপনিষদ এবং শ্রীমদ্ ভগবত গীতা ভালো করে পড়ানো হয় না। এই কারণে উপনিষদ এবং গীতা অসাম্প্রদায়িক গ্রন্থ, সমস্ত মানব সমাজের জন্য। কোন এই ধর্মের লোক পড়বে, হিন্দু ধর্মের লোক পড়বে, এবং ধর্মের হিন্দু ধর্ম বলে তো কথাটা তো আধুনিক। আধুনিক বললো মানে কয়েকশো বছর, 1000 বছরও হতে পারবে, তারও আগে। যতদিন বৈদেশিকরা এখানে না আসে তখন হিন্দু ধর্ম বলে কোনো কথা ছিল না। সনাতন ধর্ম, সনাতন ধর্ম মানে ইটারনাল রিলিজন বা বৈদিক ধর্ম, ঔপনিষদিক ধর্ম, এই সমস্ত নামে অভিহিত হতো। এখন আমরা যাকে হিন্দু ধর্ম বলছি, এখন হিন্দু ধর্ম বলে ঠিক আছে, আমরা বুঝি। কিন্তু মূল জিনিসটা হলো আমাদের যিনি ইটারনাল, তাকে কেন্দ্র করে আমাদের এই ধর্মের উদ্ভব। হতে পারে বিভিন্ন রকম ভাগে বিভিন্ন রকম জনে বিভিন্ন রকম উপাসনা করতে পারে, উপাসনার পদ্ধতি ভিন্ন, কিন্তু এক, সেই এককে ধরতে হবে সবসময়। আর না হলে আমাদের মধ্যে বৈষম্য থাকবেই থাকবে। হ্যাঁ, বৈষম্য থাকবে, কিন্তু আমাদের স্মরণ রাখতে হবে, যদি রিলিজনের কথা আসে, যদি আমাদের সত্তার কথা আসে তখন ভাবতে হবে আমরা সব এক চৈতন্য, আমার মধ্যে যিনি, অন্যের মধ্যেও তিনি, অপরের মধ্যেও তিনি। আরেকটি হলো বহির দিকে একত্ব দৃষ্টি, সেটা হলো আমরা ভারতবাসী। যে স্বামীজি আমাদেরকে শিখিয়ে গেছেন, স্বামীজি বলছেন আমি কি শুধু ভারতের, আমি জগতের, কিন্তু তথাপি আমি ভারতবর্ষ আমার জন্মভূমি। এই কারণে ভারতবর্ষের সুখ দুঃখের সঙ্গে আমি জড়িত, কারণ এই ভারতের উন্নতিতে আমার উন্নতি। ওই জন্য তার স্বদেশ মন্ত্রের মধ্যে আমরা পাচ্ছি কত রকম তিনি মরে গেছেন এই ভারতবর্ষের মানুষকে উপলক্ষ করে। এই সমস্ত ভাবগুলো যাতে সকলের মধ্যে ঢুকে, বিশেষ করে আমাদের সঙ্গে যারা সম্পর্কিত বিভিন্নভাবে, কেউ হয়তো ছাত্র, কেউ শিক্ষক, কেউ ভক্ত, যাই হোক, কিন্তু সকলেরই কিন্তু এই উদার ভাবটি নিতে হবে। আবার উদার ভাব বললে যে আমরা একটু অন্যরকম বুঝি, আমরা যে বলছি আমরা সকলেই এক, সব ধর্মের মানুষকে ভালোবাসতে হবে, কিন্তু এখানে একটি কথা আছে, আমি ভালোবাসলাম, আমি ভাবলাম যে না সব ধর্মই তো সমান, কিন্তু অন্য যেটা যদি সেটা না ভাবে কি হবে? এই যে হাততালি দিলে আমাকে দুটো হাত এগিয়ে আনতে হবে, একটা এখানে দিল আরেকটা ওইখানে হবে না। তবে আমি সমস্ত ধর্মের মানুষের মধ্যে মিলন চাই। আমি যদি সেই এগিয়ে যাই, আমার সঙ্গে যদি কেউ এগিয়ে না আসে কিংবা এগিয়ে আসলেও তরবারি নিয়ে আমার সামনে দাঁড়ায়, তাহলে কি করে হবে? এই জন্য মনে রাখতে হবে আমরা যেন নিজের অস্তিত্বকে হারিয়ে না ফেলি। বেশি উদার 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 ভালো, উদার তুমি সেদিনই হতে পারো যেদিন তোমার দেহবোধ থাকবে না। কিন্তু যতক্ষণ আমি একটা মানুষ আছি ততক্ষণ আমার অস্তিত্ব রক্ষারও একটা তাগিদ আমার আছে। এই কারণে আমার অস্তিত্ব যদি কেউ নষ্ট করতে আসে, সেখানে কিন্তু আমাকেও ভাবতে হবে। এবং একটি ছোট্ট গল্প বলছি। একটা রাস্তা, শহরের রাস্তা, তা একটা অঞ্চলে মুচিরা বসে, মুচি যারা জুতা পালিশ করে তারা, রাস্তার দুই ধার আছে, এই ধারে কয়েকজন বসে, ওই ধারে কয়েকজন বসে। একদিকে দুইজন বসছে, এইদিকে দুইজনই বসা যায়, জায়গাটা খুব বেশি নয়। একজন আছে, এ খুব হিংসুটে এবং অ্যাগ্রেসিভ। সে করছে কি, একটু একটু করে সে তার জায়গাটা একটু বেশি নিয়ে নিচ্ছে। প্রতিদিন এইরকম করতে করতে সে নিয়ে নিচ্ছে, বেশি জায়গাটা সে নিয়ে নিচ্ছে। তো অন্যজনে বলছে, বলে কি তুমি কেন আমার জায়গা দখল করছো? সে বলছে আমি করবো, একটু পারলে পালিশ কর। ওই তর্কাতর্কি লেগে সে যে বেশি এগ্রেসিভ, সে আরো বেশি এগিয়ে আসছে। আর যে এতটা বেশি দাপট নেই, কিন্তু তার শক্তি আছে, দেখতে শুনতেও সে বড়, শক্তিও তার বেশি, তবু সে আচ্ছা ঠিক আছে নিরীহ টাইপের আর কি। তো সে আরেকটু পরের দিন আবার আরেকটু ওই এগ্রেসিভ যে সে নিয়ে নিল একটা মুচি, সে তখন আবার তেরে গেল পরে প্রতিদিনে তাকে এরকম শুধু করে। কিন্তু এই করতে করতে মারামারি লেগে গেল। যেই মারামারি লাগলো, যে অ্যাগ্রেসিভ সে কিন্তু শুধু মেরেই যাচ্ছে, আমাকে আরেকটা মেরে দেখ, আরেকবার মেরে দেখ, শুধু তাইলে তোকে দেবো আরেকটা, কিন্তু সে ওই দিক দিয়ে তাকে মেরে যাচ্ছে। তো মারতে মারতে সে এক সময় এত মার খেয়েছে যে পরেই গেল। তারপর সে মরেই গেল শেষ পর্যন্ত। এখন প্রশ্নটা হচ্ছে, সে তার অস্তিত্ব রক্ষার জন্য বিশেষ কোনো চেষ্টাই করেনি। সে যদি রুখে দাঁড়াতো, ও পারতো না ওর গায়ের শক্তির সঙ্গে। কিন্তু মানসিক শক্তি নেই তার, শারীরিক শক্তি থাকা সত্ত্বেও ওই মানসিক শক্তিকে সে কাজে লাগাতে পারেনি। অন্যরা মজা দেখছে। সুতরাং আমরা হিন্দুরা যেন সবসময় এরকম শক্তিহীন না হই। স্ট্রেংথ ইজ লাইফ, উইকনেস ইজ ডেথ বলেছেন তো। তবে আমরা যেন সেই রকম ভাবে ওই উদার হতে 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 যেন মানসিক শক্তিটা না হারিয়ে ফেলি। প্রয়োজনে আমাদেরও যেন রুখে দাঁড়াবার সাহসটা হয়। আর না হলে কিন্তু আগে তো অস্তিত্ব, তারপরে দেশ, তারপরে তো কি অনুভব রিলিজন টিলিজন সব আসবে। ওই কারণে ওইটাও আমাদের জানা দরকার। স্বামীজি বলছিলেন, তুমি গৃহস্থ, তোমাকে যদি কেউ একটা থাপ্পড় দেয়, ফিরে তুমি 10টা দেবে। বীরবিজ্ঞা বসুন্ধরা, বীর হও। এই জন্য স্বামীজি বলছিলেন সবাইকে, তোরা বীর হও। স্ট্রেংথ ইজ লাইফ। আমরা যেন সেই সব সময় শুধু উদারতার মানে প্রচার করে যাব, আর এইদিকে নিজে দুর্বল হব, এটা কিন্তু স্বামীজি চাননি। ওইটা আমাদের মনে রাখতে হবে। আর যদি না হয়, তাহলে আমাদের কিন্তু বিপদ হলেও হতে পারে, এটাও মনে রাখতে হবে। তাই সকলে সমান, সকলেই ভালো, সকলের সঙ্গে প্রীতি করব, কিন্তু এরা যেন দুর্বলতার প্রতীক না হয়ে যায়। আমাদেরকে যেন কেউ দুর্বল না ভাবতে পারে। এই জগৎটা দুর্বলের স্থান নেই, এটি মনে রাখতে হবে। স্বামীজি বলেছেন, এই জন্য তোমাদের দরকার তোমাদের শক্তি। এই মুষ্টিমেয় কয়েকটি ইংরেজ এসে তোমাদের দেশটা নিয়ে নিল, কি করে সম্ভব? তাদের মধ্যে বীর ছিল। আমি যেমন ইংরেজ, আমি সব করতে পারি। আমাদেরও ভাবতে হবে, আমি যেহেতু সনাতনী, আমি যেহেতু ভারতবর্ষী, আমিও সব করতে পারি। এটি যদি না আসে, তাহলে কিন্তু ওই সেমিনার সব চলে যাবে। তাই আমাদের স্বামীজি বলছিলেন, তোরা বীর হ। আমাদের ওই বীর হওয়া মানে কি সাইজে সাইজ মানে কি লার্জ ইন সাইজ? নো, মেন্টাল স্ট্রেংথ, সেটি চাই, সেটি দরকার। তাই আমরা উদার হব, অবশ্যই উদার হব, সবাইকে আলিঙ্গন করব, সবাইকে নিয়ে থাকব। কিন্তু আমাদের শক্তির কথাও আমাদের ভাবতে হবে। এই শক্তি ঈশ্বর, শক্তি ভগবান, শক্তি ব্রহ্ম। এই কয়টি কথা বললাম। সবাইকে আমার অভিনন্দন জানাচ্ছি, যারা এখানে এসেছেন, বক্তব্য রেখেছেন, শুনেছেন। কেউ কেউ হয়তো গার্জিয়ান আছেন, তাদেরকে অভিনন্দন জানাচ্ছি। আর আপনাদের সকলের উপর দিব্যত্রয়ী অর্থাৎ শ্রীরামকৃষ্ণ, শ্রী শ্রীমা এবং স্বামীজির আশীর্বাদ বর্ষিত হোক, সকলের কল্যাণ হোক। সর্বে জনা সুখিনঃ সন্তু, সর্বে সন্তু নিরাময়াঃ, সর্বে ভবন্তু নিরাময়াঃ, সর্বে ভদ্রাণি পশ্যন্তু, মা কশ্চিৎ দুঃখভাগ ভবেৎ। সকলেই শান্তিতে থাকুক, সকলেই ভালো হোক, সকলেই নিরোগ দেহ নিয়ে থাকুক, সকলেই সুখী হোক। এই আমাদের যারা মহাত্মা, পূর্ব মহাত্মারা এই বাণী দিয়ে গেছেন। অনেকে ভুল করে এটা বেদের বাণী নয়, এটা পরবর্তীকালে বিজ্ঞজনেরা তৈরি করে গেছেন। এটা উপনিষদের বাণী নয়, কিন্তু উপনিষদের ভাব নিয়েই এই শ্লোকটি রচনা করা হয়েছে। যেমন সর্বে ভবন্তু সুখিনঃ, সর্বে সন্তু নিরাময়াঃ, সর্বে ভদ্রাণি পশ্যন্তু, মা কশ্চিৎ দুঃখভাগ ভবেৎ। কেউ যেন এখানে দুঃখী না হয়। আমরা নিজেরাও দুঃখিত হতে চাই না, আমরা কাউকে দুঃখী করতেও চাই না। এই আমাদের বাণী, এই উপনিষদের বাণী, এই বেদের বাণী, এই মহাপুরুষদের বাণী। সুতরাং সকলের উপর সেই বৈদিক ঋষিদের, স্বামী বিবেকানন্দ এই যুগের ঋষি, তার করুণার হস্ত আমাদের উপর প্রসারিত থাকুক, এই প্রার্থনা করে আমি আমার বক্তব্য শেষ করলাম। ওম শান্তি শান্তি শান্তি। थोड़ा बैठिए।
The much awaited moment of the entire day has arrived. Even though the judges have declared the first, second and third prizes, but we must remember the most important thing in the Olympics game is not winning but taking part. The essential essence of life comes from not conquering but fighting well. So judges and faculty members, keep training and perfecting all our champions. They have really worked so hard for today, and each has the potential to turn into a rare gem. I will start with the third prize, who has got third prize. Rajoshi Mondol, third prize winner. Please come on the stage. Second prize winner is Srijata Ganguly. And the first prize winner. No guesses for this. We already knew. Abhijit Chakraborty. So I can go down.
So I thank all the students and faculty members and non-teaching staff who have helped in making the program a grand success. Nothing much to say because the time is very hard now. And we are going to give all the participants and winners the certificates for participating in this seminar. You can collect it from my office. I'll notify you when you can come, etc. And all the participants will receive a book and calendar. Book is Colombo to Almora and one calendar. So Priyanka madam is waiting near the door. So participants, please go there and then sign your name and then you can collect that. So once again, I thank everyone. Hope you will actively participate in our programs and continue the same spirit throughout your stay here. Thank you very much. And I offer my pranams to Mukta Sanganandaji for gracing the occasion and giving you the most valuable instruction. Thank you very much. One more thing. So before you leave, you please collect a food packet which is arranged outside near the tea place. Please don't forget. Thank you.
ठीक है